Transport vlog. My name is Paul, and this is a live stream. And I've never done one of these before. This is totally new to me. But the reason we're here is my channel is just about to tick over to 10,000 subscribers. You can see just below. You should be able to see below. I've just got a screenshot. This updates in real time, and it's at 9995 at the moment. So I've been keeping an eye on this throughout the day, and my plan is to stay online. Stay on this live until it goes over to 10,000 subscribers. So that could be half an hour. That could be 4 hours. It's 7:20 Sydney time as I've started this. So we've got the whole evening. It's also a long weekend. It's the King's birthday tomorrow. So, and it looks like we've got someone in. We've got Minecraft Charles Gaming. Hey, how you doing? That's good. He's my first person, so that's great. And so welcome. So that's the plan, basically just to watch this thing tick over and ask questions at the same time as well. I've got a few little tricks up my sleeve to maybe help that go over more quickly. Okay. I haven't yet promoted a few things on Twitter and LinkedIn and things like that, and YouTube as well. So, but we'll just see what happens for the time being. So, and we've got Glyn now from London. So I guess it's morning, Sunday morning, where you are in London. Oh, and we got Jim as well. Brilliant. That's great. This is cool. I haven't done anything to promote this, so this is great. We've got lots of people joining. When is your next Sydney Metro video? Well, there was one out today. That was the Chalmers Street Station entrance. So hopefully you've seen that one already. The next one is going to be, well, it is kind of Sydney Metro, I guess, the North-South Concourse that opened a couple of weeks ago now. So that's going to be the next video. And then after that, there's a few on the list. Sydenham update, trains facility south. I have seen some trains in there now, so definitely want to do that. Continuing with Brisbane. What have we got now? What sort of camera do you use? Okay, great question. So most of the time I'm just using the iPhone 11. Okay, I like it because it's simple to use. It's easy to film fairly unobtrusively, you know. So that's generally what I use, but I also use sometimes, keep it handy. Just make the screen a bit bigger. Here we go. Okay, so this is a Lumix camera. It's quite old. It's actually my wife's camera, but it has a really good zoom lens. So some of those shots that I did within Trains Facility South, for instance, were on this. So let's just get that so you can see it. So you can see that can zoom quite a long way in. Okay, so let's just zoom it out again. There we go. So there we go. So it's really good zoom. When you zoom it a long way, it gets really shaky. So it's quite often I'll just take stills on it, but it is really handy. So I use that quite a bit. They should be playing your Melbourne Metro videos in the information centre. I actually went to the information centre actually while I was there. We just put the cap back on this. Yeah. Well, I think on the video you actually saw a little bit, didn't you? Because I showed a clip of their sort of Melbourne city. So that was good. Yeah, they were quite helpful in there, but they did say that all the information was on the internet anyway, so that's why I didn't bother getting any brochures. Okay, I'm going to do my best to... Minecraft Charles Gavey says, who unsubbed? It's at 9996 now. As I've been watching this, I have noticed it going down and going up. It's been quite funny. It's generally been going up more than going down. Now, if any of you haven't subscribed, please do. Okay, I won't know who you are, so that's okay. You can do a secret subscribe if you haven't done already. The fact you're on here probably means that you already have. So yeah. All right, how are we doing? All right. Any other questions? I've got a few things to talk about if we don't have any other questions. But what I'm going to do is actually, you can see. You should do a new bank style. Do you know, I actually was there last weekend. Well, I travelled on the T3 last weekend. Yes, things are happening, but fairly slowly. What I tend to do with these things is I tend to go film them about every 4 to 6 weeks. And then when I think there's enough to talk about, I then do a video, and then sometimes I'll show different footage in that situation. Great. Oh, sorry, I missed that one. Great camera. Keep up the great videos. Yeah, thank you for that. Express Trainography. Brilliant. Okay. Looks like we've got a few other YouTubers on, which is great. Any plans to do a video on Inland Rail? This is funny. Oh, yes, bottle of champagne. Great one. That's good. Oh, there's loads of comments now. Okay, I'll try and do these in order. Oh, wow. Okay. Do I have a favorite? Yep, waiting. Yep, favorite train line. Favorite train line. It's got to be one of those scenic ones, like going down to Wollongong, the Unanderra to Moss Vale line. I love that line. Just going up through Cowan Creek, up that way into the Central Coast. They're probably my favourites. Waiting for Sydney Metro open. Backstone, yes. Ready to pop a bottle of champagne. Haven't actually got anything particularly to celebrate. I could get something from the fridge, but no. We'll see what happens. Plans to do a video on Indian Rail. Now, this is an interesting one. So I have a lot of videos that I've filmed that just haven't got to YouTube yet for various reasons. And when I was in Dubbo, doing the end of a line there, and again, that one hasn't gone up yet. I did go to sort of a place where the freight line continues just beyond Dubbo and did an intro for Inland Rail with a view to it maybe being a collab with some people who might be living in that area, or just doing some screenshots and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's on the list. I've been here since 3K and you've improved a lot. Oh, thank you. That's great. Thank you, Orange Eater. Sorry. How we do? We're up to 9997. Okay, it's happening. That's good. Yes, I did do that. The Vivid tram. I did do that. I did film it as well. And so yeah, might try and get that one up there. But yes, that was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed that. I went during the day. It was quite quiet, so it was lovely. All right. Thank you. Anything planned for the new XPT trays? Yes. I don't know where those are at the moment, but I know they have similar trays in the UK. Have you tried using a tripod? Yes, I have, Athol. When at the car park at it's called the Marrickville Metro car park, where I used to do the trains facility south, it was actually impossible to have a tripod there because of the fence was too high, basically, and I found I couldn't get it stable. But yes, I have tried the tripod at Chatswood Dive Site. Let me see if I can just find it, actually. Where is it? I got this really lightweight tripod, and because it's so lightweight, if there's a bit of wind, I find it's not actually that effective. But it was a good brand. It was a Manfrotto, but I got it because it was really light. Okay, but actually, reality, if there's a bit of wind, it's not really that effective. So yeah, and I don't. And we've done it. Hey, 10,001. Hey, okay. I was going to have some like applause music or something like that at this stage, but I haven't organised it. So yeah, so there we go. 10,001 subscribers. Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm going to stay on for a while. So yeah, but I really thought that was going to take a bit longer. So that's brilliant. So 10,001, fantastic. Hope you all saw that go over. This should all record, so I'll probably pop this up, or it'll just appear in the lives afterwards. So that's awesome. Great. Oh, good to see you there, Matthew. And okay, who else have we got? Oh yeah, thank you, Matthew. Well, you can congratulate me now, so that's great. Hope you're keeping well. Right, new messages below. As I mentioned to people when I joined, I've never live streamed before. I'm using some software that I've never used before that allows me to share my screen. Okay, good one. Thank you, Express Trainography. Thank you, Andrew. That's great. Thank you, everyone else. That's great. Brilliant. Thank you, Matthew, again. That's great. Okay, so we've got any other questions? Thank you, Andrew. It's good. Some of these comments actually flash up, which is great when that happens. That's great. Thank you. That's good. You can actually see, if you look at the screen here, let's even make it a bit bigger. Let's make me smaller and the screen bigger. There we are. Let's try that. So maybe I'll just talk a little bit about, how the channel started. So I like your air conditioner. Oh, does it look like it's on fire? Is it fire? I like your air conditioner. Yeah, it's not actually on at the moment. Actually, I seem to be keeping warm enough, but yeah, it's pretty good. This is interesting. So actually, when you're recording voiceovers, things like air conditioning is a bit of a problem. So if it's really cold, I generally have the air conditioning on, and then I turn it off when I'm actually doing voiceovers. And when it gets really hot, I have the same problem. So yeah, because it makes a bit of noise. So that can be a bit of an issue. What's your favorite train in Melbourne? type of train. I think it's got to be the new ones. I forgot what they're called. The high capacity metro train. Yes, it's got to be those, I think. What software do you use to edit? So I use Final Cut Pro. So I'm a Mac person. So I use Final Cut Pro. I like it because you just pay for it once. You don't have to pay for it every month like you do with the Adobe Suite. How did the Chats with Dive site tour come about? I was actually invited by Sydney Metro. So basically, they watched my videos. I realised that quite a few months earlier, actually, when I was there on the bridge, the Mowbray Road Bridge, and someone said, "Oh, your videos helped me get a job there," and that we watch your videos in like their meeting room. So I knew quite a while ago that they watched the videos, and then they invited me. So I think it was probably because I'd just done so many of those videos, they really liked them. I haven't seen any of your vlogs for a while. Have you made any? No, I haven't. But yes, I have seen. I was unlucky when I was traveling down to Sydenham the other week. The train was so busy. One of the carriages was out of action. So the train was so busy, I couldn't get my normal window seat on the right. And so I was just by the door and I saw this metro train just leaving the Sydenham platform as I was coming in. And by the time I got onto the bridge, it had gone out way into the maintenance facility. But I have since then seen a couple in the maintenance facility. So yeah, I'm thinking once I've done the North-South Concourse video, that'll probably be the next video, because also the Burroughs Avenue entrance has opened as well. All right. If I miss anyone, I'm sorry. I'll try my best to cover every comment. Do you know when new entry? Okay, let's go back a bit. No, I don't. Chalmers Street, I don't. I don't think they've really been able to go in and assess the damage yet. So no, I don't. To be honest, I rarely know about. Let me make this up bigger again. Let's go back to here. Oh, that's quite a good view, isn't it? Let's try. That was the one I was on before. Oh no, let's try. Let's stick with that one for now. I rarely know about opening days. Occasionally, I'll get some sort of inside information by maybe asking one of the Metro people, but rarely I know about them until possibly 24 hours before. So yeah, yeah. The last two, I have just taken a punt by just turning up there on the Monday morning and hoping I got the right day, and usually I had. So, but yeah, you've proved there's space for void depth public transfer. Yep, great. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Collaborations, yes. Now, me and Reese, we do chat about every 3 to 6 months on Zoom. We chat about things, and we have been meaning to do a collab. We just haven't quite got it to work. That's been my end, very much my end. There's a reason that hasn't happened. Building beautifully, yes. I actually met Sheriff last Sunday. We went to, there was an open day at Aerotropolis station. So we went there and we did some filming at some other sites using his drone. And then actually this Saturday, I'll put a link. There is actually an open day at the airport, the Western Sydney Airport, this Saturday. I don't know if there's any spaces still available. I'll see if I can pop it in the chat. If I can't, I'll put it as a post afterwards. But me and Shareth are going to that. So yes, definitely a couple of collabs on the way with Shareth. Tate said, no, we haven't made touch yet, but I'm sure we will. But yes. Is my background in engineering? No, not so much. No, my background is, I did do my university degree a long time ago in transport studies in England. I worked in the transport industry more as a planner for about 7 years. And since then, I've worked outside the industry, predominantly doing software training. So I guess I'm quite technically minded, but more with computers rather than engineering. So no, not particularly. So yeah, all that construction stuff I've basically learned. Okay. Didn't closing of Sydney trains. Well, do you think the closing of Sydney trains on weekends will help Sydney Metro? I don't know. I think they're different things. This is about the backlog of engineering work, I guess you're talking about. What are the city metros we make videos on in the future? Well, one of the things I do like to do is go to wherever I'm going to do filming for. So I would say there's 3 places on the list. Perth is one, Adelaide is another, and Auckland in New Zealand would be my third. So that would be my first international video. So that would be my plan. I've been to Singapore many times before. If I go to Singapore again, I'd probably try and do some front of train videos on some of the newer metro lines there, the driverless ones. But yes, yes, the most enjoyable part of this for me is actually going out and seeing the places. So and obviously the UK. Planning a trip to the UK. I haven't been back to the UK since 2018. It's been a long time. The next year, so we've got the Elizabeth line. There's so much going on there. I wouldn't know where to start really, but yes, definitely. Okay, building beautifully. Is that the tickets are all gone for the? Is that for the Western City Airport tour? Let me just see if I can double check that. Let me just check. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But I've got another screen here, so if I'm looking that way, that's just because I've got a second screen. So let's see if I can find out. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, see if I can answer some questions while I'm looking. Is it okay if I go and watch it? Yeah, go for it. That's fine. I would play some bits of videos, but I don't know how to share sound. So usually I can share the screen, but it's quite hard to share the sound. Do you ever take an idea on 3 metro lines apparently incompatible? Yeah, Reese was asking me about this actually. Let me see if I can deal with that question while I'm looking for this email. The only difference I know is that the Western City Airport line is 25 kilovolts HV, sorry, AC even, AC. So that's the only difference I'm aware of. I mean, maybe there's differences in loading gauge and things like that, but that's the only difference I'm aware of. I don't even know what the car lengths are going to be on Metro West. I'm assuming there's 6, but they might be different. Even things like the platform lengths, I don't know what they're going to be. Right, just trying again to find this. This about Western City Airport. There was also an open day at the base station a week on Sunday, but by the time I got around to booking a ticket, they'd all gone, so that caught me out a bit, fortunately. So they do go rather quickly. Here we go. Here we go. All right, what's it saying? Now, I'm just checking this now. Okay, there are still tickets available. Let me share this tab and I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, let me make this bigger as well. Okay, so what you need to do is go back a level. Take this screen. So let's go back to the email. Okay, so you can see the screen here. Oh no, maybe you can't. There we go. Okay, so you can see the screen here. What you need to do is where it says invitation code, type in the word resident. So basically, it's only open at the moment to local residents. Okay. Okay. So if you type in resident and then click book now, that will take you to this screen here, and it looks like there's still availability on the 11 o'clock, which is the one I booked on, and on the 5 o'clock. Okay, so I'm on the 11 o'clock, and then when you go to there, when you select that, there's then a bus tour. That's the 8:30. Hang on. Oh, that's weird. 8:30. Oh, sorry, I was booked on this one, the 11 o'clock. That's sold out now. But yeah, the spaces on the one before and the one after. So yeah, you might not see me, but you still get to go and have a look around. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Chance to look at the metro stations. All right. Should do his video. Yep, great. So yeah, so the 3 different types of metros. I'm waiting for Reese's video on that. Okay, so hopefully I'll learn something from that. Through the city will be open. I don't believe the metro through the city will be open by the end of a year's worth of track work. I'm still not really sure how they're linked, to be honest, because it's all underground. It's all quite separate. But yeah. Have you always? Yes. Oh, great question, Sam. Yes, since about the age of, I'd say probably yes. I mean, the first 8 years of my life, I was actually born in New Zealand in Dunedin, and my dad was always into trains, so we used to watch I think it was the blue train and the green train, which went from Dunedin to Christchurch. But I was much more into aircraft at that time because we lived on the approach to Christchurch Airport, so I used to see the little de Havilland 748s, I think they were called, little propeller planes. Well, I say little, they were turboprops. And so I really got into planes at that age. And then when it came to England when I was 8, I probably lost interest a bit. And then around about the age of 12, I got into trains then. And then it's kind of been an interest off and on throughout my life, really. So as I say, I went on to study transport at uni and then worked in the transport industry for about 7 years. And then it's sort of been there in the background. You know, when I met my wife, we go on, we go to do city breaks and things like that. And quite often I would just say, do you mind if I just go off for 3 or 4 hours and go and ride on the public transport? And she'd go off and go around some art gallery or something like that. So it's always been there. And then coming to Australia, obviously new country, I got really interested in what was going on, but it's been there. Sometimes it's been more of a background interest, but things like going on train rides, exploring new places, that's always something I've done. So yeah. Have you had a chance to look at any of the metro stations at platform level? So no, except for Sydenham, okay, which you can see. No, I mean, you know, I'd need to be invited to do that. You can actually see, from Central, from the new North-South concourse, if you look down the new metro escalators, you can actually see bits of the platform. So yes, I could say that's 2 then. I'm worried about that too. Begging for an extra ticket. Okay. Don't have, I guess, yeah, it's a good point. The metro lines don't necessarily have to be compatible. That's right. You know, in London Underground, you've got different tube lines that are not necessarily compatible because of maybe loading gauges and things like that. And even if they were compatible, the lines, they just stay on one line. So no, not necessarily. I don't think it's actually hugely a problem. So yeah. When is the something? I guess is that Chalmers Street entrance? See if I can make that. Something's covering up. I'm guessing that's the Chalmers Street. Again, I don't know. With all the openings, I've generally found out a couple of days' notice. I've either got a tip off from another transport YouTuber or or what's often happened is I've been filming a couple of days before it's open because I've noticed it's looking close to opening, and then maybe a Sydney Metro person, employee recognizes me and they might tell me, or I sometimes hear myself and Phil at Sydney Trains Vlogs, we talk to each other quite regularly, so he sometimes tips me off about things like that as well. So we do share information that we hear. So yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great question. So Sydney Metro, I was invited. I think basically they'd been enjoying a lot of my chats with Dive set update videos, and they invited me. So it was about a day's notice. So I was quite lucky I could actually make it. Parramatta Light Rail, same thing. Was invited by them. So I don't go out of my way to try and get behind the scenes. I definitely could do, but I haven't been so far. So they've come direct. So yeah, it's a nice perk, definitely. When that happens, it's good for them because it's showcasing their projects as well. And I think what we'll find is early next year when the metro stations go into like testing phase, because they're all still construction sites at the moment, but once they go into the testing phase, I think we'll find that Sydney Metro will be inviting a lot more people to go and see the stations beforehand. I do remember Phil, the Sydney Trains vlog, seeing some of the Northwest stations before they open. So I think there'll definitely be opportunities, and if I'm aware of them, then I'll definitely let you know. So yeah, that's the plan. Wonder if any case of when the metro will open. Do you have a feeling it will be? It's a good question, actually. Sod's Law it will open in June 2024 when I decide to go to the UK for 3 weeks. That's probably what will happen. I'm hoping it's going to open before then. But yes, we'll see what happens. But I think early, yeah. I think hopefully early in 2024. So yeah. Does that mean they won't be able to extend the airport line to Tallawong without an interchange? Yes, that's right. Well, it depends. You see, if it's just a different voltage, then you could potentially have dual voltage trains. But if it's a different loading gauge, then that would be obviously an issue. But yeah. But if you think about it realistically, you wouldn't really want to go from the airport to the city via Tallawong. That would be quite a long way around. So I think changing it Tallawong would be okay, or maybe changing it Schofields. It could be that they extend the existing Northwest line to Schofields, and that becomes the interchange where the two change. So yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the CAF Civity trains, I think they're a bit delayed. I love the XPTs and the Explorers, so I'm in no real rush to see the new trains come in, to be honest. But yes, they're going to replace all of those. I reckon the incapacity is pretty annoying. It will be annoying in a couple of decades. As I say, I mean, you look at cities like Singapore, where they've got some lines that have trains with drivers, some that are driverless, different signaling systems. Oh, hi, Steve. Good to see you on. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. What are we at now? I haven't been paying attention. Let's see. We're up to. Oh, it's gone down one. We're at 10,002 now. Oh no, it's just gone up to 6. Let's share that tab again. There we go. Have you heard of any upcoming open days? No, the only one I was aware of, there was an open day at the base station a week on Sunday, but the tickets have all sold out for that. The best way to find out about them is to just literally subscribe to every single Sydney Metro email list. Let me show you how you do that. So if you go to Sydney Metro website and you go to get in touch, and then you go somewhere you can sign up to all the email lists. Sometimes it just pops up if you're new to the site, but there is a place you can go. Media access to information. Oh, where is it? I thought it was under get in touch. Complaints. I did it the other day. Here we are. I think it's this one here. So you pop in your email address. Okay, and then you go sign up. And then you basically tick all the things you're interested in. Now, if you tick Sydney Metro, City and Southwest, you should. Oh yeah, if you tick construction site updates, this one here, and you just tick every single construction site, and you get a lot of emails. Okay, but if you check them, occasionally you're going to get ones about open days. So that's the best way. But you'll get a lot of emails. But they're quite interesting. I mean, you know, those emails sometimes are what encourage me to go and visit a certain site. So you know, it's they're definitely useful. So yeah. Okay, how are we doing? Have you heard of any upcoming open days? Will probably happen later part of next year. I'm still not seeing the connection, to be honest, between track work and Metro. To me, they seem totally unconnected unless they require the same. Unless you've got the same staff using on both, then I'm not quite sure. I don't think that's going to make any difference. It might actually be a good thing to get the Metro open earlier if there's going to be more track work, because then you've got an alternative. Okay. It's Western. Okay. Yeah, first live stream. Piermont. Yes, I was there today. I was at Piermont today. Demolition's going to be starting very soon. I met a lovely artist called Jane, who was actually painting one of the buildings that's going to be demolished, and I had a lovely chat with her, and she's going to be in the video. And she's got paintings that go back like 20 years. So yes, I had a lot of fun at Piermont today. I've also got a contact there as well. I'm hoping to get a meet up with, so or at least talk to. So yes, definitely. Carl saying you must be doing something right. I can only dream of having 10,000 fans. A little tip, any YouTubers out here, a little tip for you. I think to be successful on YouTube, you need to either be the first at something, you need to be better than anybody else, or you need to be different. Okay. It's pretty hard to be the first transport YouTuber in Sydney or even other cities, because obviously quite a few people are doing it. You know, I guess Phil at Sydney Trains Vlogs was probably the first. Okay. Being better, being the best, always striving to be better, I think is great. But if you can be different, and being different is really just being yourself, you know. I know from my perspective, if someone just uploads a video of like trains at, I don't know, Newtown Station, and all I'm seeing is just trains going through Newtown Station with no commentary about what they are or anything like that, then I'm probably not going to watch that video for very long. But if I can learn something new from that video, then I'll certainly watch it. So I think that's my tip: be the first, be different, or be better. Okay, so yeah, that's my tip. And stick at it as well. Consistency is important, but I'd say quality over quantity, definitely. I mean, recently I've only been uploading about every 2 weeks, but that hasn't made really any difference. The subscribers have kept going up, the views have kept going up. So yeah, great. So sorry, it really answered. Do you get? Yes, I think I've answered that one already. Yeah, that's good. Do you like Sydney Metro? I think they're different. I mean, I love double decker trains. Okay, and you know, I mean, I'm probably not a huge fan of the metro trains because there's not that much seating on them. I do like standing at the front though and pretending I'm the driver. So, but I like the technology. I like the fact they're speedy. So those sorts of things. So yeah, I wouldn't say I have a preference really. Am I planning to come to Perth? Yes, when the flights get cheaper. Okay, I actually have some good friends in Perth. Yeah, I'd love to come to Perth. I'd love to do a video on the opening the airport line. I'd also like to go down to Mandurah and do an end of the line video at Mandurah. I love that line. So yes, definitely. From one of your subscribers. Oh, great. Oh, thanks, Lorraine. Yes, so I definitely want to come to South Australia. I'd love to do the tram. I'd like to go up to Bel Air and do an end of a line at Bel Air and see the koalas in the bushland while I'm there. I like yeah, I've been to South Australia a few times, but not since I started this channel, unfortunately. We like to either Metro West connect to the airport. Yeah. Yeah, look, I think ultimately what I'd like to see is Metro West going to the airport. I think that's the ultimate. That would be great. That would be, you know, a quick way to the airport from the city. But that's probably, you know, I think the issue was, you know, I think interesting with this one, you know, if in some ways, rather than having the line from St Mary's extending from Westmead to the airport would have probably been the better solution. The problem with that is that that couldn't happen until probably 2032, 2033, because if Sydney Metro West is opening in 2030 and then you extend it, it's just, and they wanted it something by 2026. So I think that's the problem. Can't go down again there. It's quite funny. But you know, I've been to Singapore, and you know, at Singapore Airport, you have to get a different type of train. They're not compatible to another station. Then you get onto the normal Singapore MRT train. So I'm kind of used to that. So I guess the St Mary's is similar in a way. Have you heard of any? So yeah, just I mentioned just sign up to all the newsletters to find out about open days. Oh, great! We've got someone from Washington DC. Brilliant. Thanks, Andrew. Welcome. What metro line do you think would be built next? I think probably the link up to Tallawong. I think I'd say probably what I'd like to see built next would be actually something going down towards Maroubra. So continuing from Hunter Street and continuing around maybe through Darlinghurst and down that way. But that's got to be quite an expensive one. Some stations might do an emergency. Yes, that could happen. Certainly in the UK. I mean, in the UK, I mean, one of the things I did that was the most fun in the UK was working on the Jubilee Line extension as a public spokesperson. So I was taking people on tours around the stations, and that's probably one of the reasons I decided to start this YouTube channel, because I thought it'd be great to do something like that again, but this time using the internet. And we did do an emergency drill. So we got a load of volunteers. We were on a train. They deliberately sort of ramped it up and derailed it, and then did the whole evacuation procedure where you evacuated the train and walked through the tunnel to North Greenwich Station. So yes, they'll need to do that here, and it'd be great if they could do it with real people. So yeah, absolutely. Yes. I'm friends with the head. Oh, okay, head of Sydney Metro testing. Oh, great. Okay, that's good. We'll open before the 5th anniversary. Ah, that's good. Yes, that seems like a good goal. Okay, great. So I could book my holidays in the UK in June then. Okay. Are you going to do any more videos? Yes. The main issue is just time, to be honest. And you know, trying to work out what videos will be most popular. But yes, definitely. Probably the next couple of months. Yes, very much a light rail. Yeah, thanks. That's great. Do you know? No, I don't have no idea about the NIF trains. Do you like D sets or V sets more? I've not been on the NIF, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame they haven't got the reversible seating. I guess that's my main sort of gripe with those, I guess. But yeah, more trains, more. Should there be more services? Now, more trains, more services. That is dependent on the Sydney Metro line go all the way to Bankstown to free up paths from Sydenham. So if that's now looking like that's delayed to 2025, then that means that the more trains, more services project will get delayed as well, unfortunately, because the two are. Hope you understand why. So it's freeing up the T3 between Sydenham and Central that's going to allow the T8 and the T2 capacity to increase. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Yes, big advantages with 25 kilovolts AC. One is less substations. Remember all the Bankstown line, the number of substations, I think there's 5 in total. So yeah. Thank you, Icy. Has there been any major changes to the Bankstown? I was there last weekend. Nothing that's really significant now that all the lifts have gone in, and there's a few changes, but nothing that really seems quite interesting enough to do another video on. So yeah, I have been a little bit moving away from doing update videos as well, because they tend to have quite a short shelf life. So they tend to be very popular and then they drop down and become hardly anybody watches them. So that's why I've been doing more of these explained type videos, because they tend to have more of a long-term kind of viewership. So they're more I call evergreen. So they're more one of the well, I think I will share with you actually, just to make this point a bit more clear. Is this spreadsheet? I don't know how. Hopefully, it'll let me share something in Excel. If I can do this now, how can I share this? Let's try share. I've only managed to share internet windows so far. So if I do that, remove, and then try and do another share. Oh, don't know how to do it. Screen, on screen. Here we go. Screen, share, screen. Okay. Oh, I seem to have lost the ability. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Doesn't seem to. Oh, here we are. Window. Here we go. Window. Microsoft Excel. Share. Okay. Chrome doesn't have permission to capture your screen. That didn't work, did it? Right. Try again. So screen. Share a window. Share Excel. Share. Chrome doesn't have permission to capture your screen. Please go to allow screen recording in Chrome. Okay, this might not be as easy as I thought it was going to be. I know what we can do. All right. I'll just talk you through that instead. Let me just see if I can share what I was sharing before again. So Chrome tab, Google Channel Analytics. There we go. That's sharing again. Great. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just so you know, because I don't know how to do this any other way. But some videos that have consistently been in the top. Oh, I know what we can do. Let's go to here. All right, share this tab. Some videos that have been consistently, like every month, have been popular, have included. Go back to latest. Have been right. Let's have a look. The one who was the Dulwich Hill, this one, Dulwich Hill line with the Ulster, that's been consistently popular every month, which is really good. So that's been one that's it's nearly a year old now, that one. Another one that's been really popular has been, if we go to popular, Dubai, most popular, views. Let's do views again. The Sydney Trains and New South Wales train link. I know Ethan likes this video because he keeps making comments about it. So that video is 2 years old now. The C sets were still around when I recorded that video, and that's also in the top 10 every month. It's always one of the more popular ones. So yeah, so I am trying to do slightly more of those videos and less updates for that reason. So yeah. Okay, let's go back to that one again. All right, how are we doing? Subscribe to all the email lists. Yes. That's good, Jim. Yeah. Metro West under construction would be a good idea to extend this out. Yeah, look, I think that's going to happen, Paul, at some point. Yes, I think once it's open to Westmead, extending that to the airport, that would be, if it's going to take, say, 25 minutes to get from Hunter Street to Westmead, and it could take maybe another 25 minutes to get to the airport, then I'd probably use that. At the moment, I can't see myself from where I live, which is in the lower North Shore, using the Western City Airport. It'd just take too long to get there. So, yeah, I can't see it being useful for really people living east of Parramatta. But yeah, definitely if there was a metro link, yes. Yes, that's open. The new station concourse actually opened on 29th of May. Um, and I was in a real quandary about that, is which video to do first, because um, I was going to do that one first. And then I realized that the Chartman Street one, that anything could happen with that in any day. It could open like a week later, it could open 4 weeks later. And with the fire being topical, I decided to do that one first. And also, I'd done some work on that one already. So that's why that one came out first at the end. And then I thought doing the North South concourse would be a real special 10,000 subscriber one. So yeah, so that's opened. Have you seen the maintenance announcement? Yes. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Getting around at weekends. Might be some interesting to do some more of those videos where, trains do weird things at weekends and go on weird little bits of track. So it'd be good to do some more of those. They got new lifts and big low spaces. Okay, not sure where that's referring to. Yes, do more videos. So the bicycle way between Tramway Avenue and Carlingford is open. So I quite like to use that when I next do the Parramatta Light Rail update. So yeah, I reckon next 2 to 3 months would be good. Sorry, Brisbane is taken. Yes, that's Steve's patch, Brisbane. That's it. Actually, Steve, it's a good example. Actually, Steve's a good example of basically being someone who got there first. Okay, so the type of videos he's doing, and I do encourage you to watch them, even if you're not from Brisbane, because you'll really learn a lot about Cross River Rail and things like that. So again, he's the first person that's doing those type of videos, and he's got his own sort of slant about them as well. So do check out Steve's channel, Steve's Technology and Transit. Yeah, and I've learned a lot from his videos as well. When do you think the archaeological work is probably happening at the moment, I think. But yeah, I haven't been. I might go to Westmead and Parramatta tomorrow, actually. I was kind of hoping to get there today, but I was thinking tomorrow I might do a bit of a Sydney Metro West day. I did City and Southwest today. I went to Waterloo. I think there's some lifts in at Waterloo now. I also went to Pyrmont. I know that's west. I went to the bays, hoping I might see the tunnels because the tunnel boring has actually started now. They actually started tunneling now from the bays to 5 dock. And I thought maybe I could see like the actual tunnels, but there's a big acoustic shed over it, so I couldn't see anything. So that was a bit of a waste of time. And then I went to Victoria Cross and then tried to film in Crow's Nest, and the security guy had a bit of an issue, so I had to stop filming at Crow's Nest. That doesn't normally happen very often, but it did this time. Okay. Actually, North Victoria Cross, the northern entrance. This is the one that will be lifts only. Is looking pretty good. So if you happen to be in the North Sydney area, definitely worth going and checking that out. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. The other main entrance is just an overstation development. You can't really see much. Okay, how are we doing? Let's try and get through these. I feel like I know a lot about. Yeah, look, it's all just come from just reading articles and watching other videos and things like that. I know certainly on the Melbourne Metro Tunnel videos, I watched quite a few on the Rail Projects Victoria YouTube channel. Learned quite a lot from that, so that was good. Thoughts on the news? I would love to see a couple of extra stations on Metro West. Definitely, definitely one between Parramatta and Olympic Park for sure. Yeah, and sort of Camellia, somewhere like that. And ideally one between the bays and 5 dock. I mean, it is a missed opportunity really if it doesn't happen, because it can't be added later. On an above ground section like say the Western City Airport line, they could add stations later on the above ground section, but very impossible really to add them underground later. And the Jubilee line in London actually was a good example of this happening. So the local councillor for Bermondsey really fought to get a station at Bermondsey and at Southwark, and that happened. It wasn't really going to happen. So yeah, I'd like to think so. And I'd actually be quite happy for it to open a couple of years later, like 2032, 2033, with those extra stations. So yeah, definitely agree with that. I've got 6. I need lots of tips. It takes a while. If you look at my channel, I've only got 60 subscribers in 3 months. Need lots of tips. I mean, when I first started, so this was October, it took me about probably 2 months to get to 60 subscribers. Okay. And that was just doing fairly regular videos. And then one thing about YouTube is it does tend to go in sort of peaks and troughs. So you'll have a video that just does really well. For me, it was the Chatswood dive site videos. They did really well, and that was how my channel grew really. So, but yeah, again, as I said to other people, try and be the first. If you can't be the first, try and be better. Try and make the videos as good as you can. Watch other YouTubers, and most importantly, be different. See if you can be a bit, just be yourself in your videos. You don't necessarily have to have yourself on camera, but if you can do some kind of voiceover and do that in your style, then people will relate to that. So that will definitely help. Metro trains are really noisy in tunnels. Not necessarily. If you watch my video where I got into the metro tunnel, we talk a bit about quite a few things that they've done to actually dampen that. So yes, they don't have to be noisy. No, there's no. Well, you've still got the Parramatta light rail to Olympic Park. Still got that planned in. I'm going to do a video, do a walk around the proposed route later in the year. How to use Melbourne in a wheelchair. I sometimes do how to. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, I'd like to actually. When Sydney Metro City of Southwest opens, I plan to do an in-depth on each station, and one of them I'd quite like to do with a wheelchair guest. Actually, I know Jeff Marshall did the same thing on the Elizabeth line, so I'd quite like to do that. Yes, that's right. It's owned by Hong Kong MTR. Yeah, that's right. Did you? Yes, I did go, and yes, I did film it. Whether I do a video on it, I haven't decided yet. But yes, it was fun. I did enjoy it. Yes. Do you think the Western Stair should be metro? Look, there's pros and cons, I think. I think I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a problem the changing at St Mary's, quoting the Singapore example as that being something. So I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I do feel maybe the Leppington extension, if that's extended to the airport, maybe that should be conventional rail. I think that would be a cheaper way to do it. So yeah. Okay. Found Macarthur T8 go to St Mary via. Some friends say the T52 should go to Macarthur, the T8 should go St Mary's via. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Yeah. Light rail. Look at yes. Again, I'm hoping maybe to get to Parramatta and Westmead tomorrow and have a look at that. Camera's frozen again. Oh no, camera frozen. Okay. Is it still frozen? Was I on the route today? Yes, I was actually. Yes, I was on between Central and the Star going backwards. Obviously, you're on the same train. I get spotted quite regularly, actually, particularly at Central stations. So yes, I was on there. I was on there today. Yes, I was going to have a look at the Piermont buildings today. So yes, yeah, cost effective. Yes, quite possibly more cost effective. Just extend the Leppington line. Yes, definitely. L3 to Maroubra. Okay. Do you think they should install side panels on older trains instead of having them on the duty sets? Yeah, wait, what Paul was on the? I think side panels are always a good idea. I guess, yeah, definitely. Do you ever do a vlog at Epping? Interesting station. Yes, that would be good to do at some point. Yeah, they've got some interesting new bus displays at Epping as well, and I think I've seen them at Chatswood as well. They look a bit like a normal, like sort of black and white grey bus panel, but when you look at it, it gives you like the next bus is in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Mean to do a video on that at some point as well. Okay, favorite train station. Oh, God, I don't know. Favorite train station. Probably Bonderbine. I don't know. Actually, probably Central. It's probably going to be Central Station at the moment, I think. Yeah, definitely. Liverpool to Glenfield into Metro. Haven't really got any strong views on that. Yeah, I mean, you talk about the existing line, Liverpool to Glenfield. I know the long-term plan is to build a completely new line from Bankstown to Liverpool via a different and more direct route. Yes, so actually in London, Dave, they're 4-rail. It's a 4-rail system. So one rail picks up the current, and the other rail, I think the one in the middle, returns the current. It's a 4-rail system. Yeah. Right, okay. Camera's now working again. That's good. Okay. Am I getting really behind? I think I'm really losing. Okay, I'm going to have to just so many comments. I'm probably just going to have to just sort of feed through a little bit now. Haven't really got an opinion. I mean, the conversion of the T3 to Metro is really about increasing capacity around the whole system by freeing up paths into Central. So for that reason, it's a good idea. Does seem to be a lot of work involved in doing it and keep it totally segregated, but it's necessary if you're going to increase capacity on the other two lines. Okay, were you on the L1? Okay. If only you'd fly into, yeah. Love the Cross River Rail video. Part 2, probably July. I was hoping to do it this month, but with the stuff happening at Central Work, the fire, and then the new North-South concourse, I've sort of put those as priority. But we're definitely going to be working more closely with Steve because all my footage is getting a bit out of date now. Most of it was in April. So, yes, we'll be probably working together on those. That's the idea. But, yes, definitely July. And then probably Part 3. I want to go back up to Brisbane to do Part 3. So that'll probably be August, September time. Although, as I was joking, I think I'd put some post on Facebook today that if it gets cold, oh no, it's a YouTube comment. If it gets really cold in Sydney in July, I might go up for a few days just to warm up. So yeah. The video. So yes. So main equipment's my iPhone. Okay, the Lumix camera, which you'll see if you watch the replay. I demoed that earlier. Final Cut Pro to edit. This microphone, the Blue Yeti, for doing voiceovers. I also use the DJI mic when I'm out filming. So when I do the sort of welcome to Transport Vlog, my name is Paul, and those bits, this is all on the DJI mic. So it's got 2 transmitters and a receiver, and that attaches to the phone. So that's really good. All right. Do I use the stabilizer? Yes. When I'm doing zoomed in footage, I use a stabilizer feature in Final Cut Pro. I sometimes use something called optical flow, which is brilliant. I've used that a lot with the Chats with Divesat videos, both on train and from the bridge. So yeah. Yes, I've been missing your videos, Steve. Yeah. Yes, that's right. 24 hours a day. Yeah, for the Western Sydney Airport. When will Sydney Metro open up at Central Station? I don't know, but I like the idea of it being before the 50th year anniversary. I think that would be great. So yeah, and I hope they open it on a Sunday as well, like they did last time. Don't know about the ceiling tiles. Actually, ceiling tiles, yes, I have noticed. It looks like they are replacing some of them. Yes, that's essential. That's right. Yeah, same Urbus, CAF, Urbus trams, Sydney, Canberra. That's right. Or slightly different models, but yeah, basically the same ones. Okay. If I don't know the answer, I'm just going to skip past them now. Okay. Things like when Sydney Metro are going to open, because I honestly don't know. What station would I add in Sydney Metro West? One between Parramatta and Olympic Park, maybe somewhere around Camellia. And I think we're good to have another one between the Bays and 5 Dock as well. That's good. Yeah, 60 subscribers in 3 months is, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's getting the first 100 subscribers is probably the hardest. Okay. Another tip with YouTube is if you can do a video that's different to somebody else's, okay, and that could be just going to an unused station, go to like the least used station somewhere, something like that. Then if people are searching for that, your video is more likely to appear in the search results. Okay. So that's another little tip. So doing things that are a bit kind of off the wall. But you do want to do things that people might search for a bit. But yes, that can help. Just doing things that are a bit different definitely helps. Nifty sets, no idea. First Fleet, yes. Yeah, there still seems to be a couple of First Fleet ferries still to be done, actually. Oh, they started the station box. Okay, that's good to know, Paul. I'm probably going to have a trip over there tomorrow or next weekend. Favorite line to film on? Don't know. I think anything in the countryside I really like. So again, going down to Wollongong or going up through Cowan is great. Or the Blue Mountains line. Yeah. What is the best train set in Sydney? Why is the Tangara? I don't know. They're all different. So I'm a guy in a wheelchair. Okay, I live in Melbourne. Okay. hopefully you're, certainly with Metro Tunnel, that's going to see some improvements and accessibility improvements there. There is some little digression actually. There's a Stadler train in the UK where when the doors open, like a ramp opens at the same time, so it effectively makes even if the platform's not quite level, if it's slightly up or slightly low, it effectively provides that step. So rather than station staff having to do it, the train does it. A bit like, I suppose, the low floor ramps on a bus. So it'd be good to see more of that happening, definitely. So yeah, that 15 minutes ago. Okay, let's just keep going through. How are we doing with subscribers? Wow, we're up to 10,012. Okay, this is great. Bus timetables are solar. Oh, they're solar powered, are they? Okay, that's interesting. Thanks to Metro. Screens linked to same data stream that's used for transport apps. Yes. I don't know whether Parramatta will be the L4 or the L5. Let's see what happens. Yes. Yeah, I'm really aware that these videos really help people who can't get to see these places for themselves, or people who live in other parts of the world. I watch a lot of Jeff Marshall's videos to find out what's going on in the UK, for instance. So I do feel I'm kind of giving back in a way for that. So yes, definitely. What do you think of frequency? Definitely better than every 10 minutes. I'd definitely like to see off-peak frequency maybe about every 6 to 7 minutes. I think peak frequency of every 4 minutes is probably okay, but yeah, I definitely would like to see it better than every 10 minutes. Wish there was an Australian channel like Mars. Going to Sydney, Brisbane, yeah. Okay. Camellia, yeah. Oh, the tram tracks are on Google Maps. That's good to know. Best train app. I normally use TripView for train apps. I like any trip as well, but normally I use TripView. Yeah, I get 3 times more subs from my YouTube shorts. Yeah, I've not done any shorts yet. I just don't like filming portrait. It just doesn't seem right for me. So I've not bothered with shorts yet, but maybe one day. But my videos. I struggle to keep my videos till even 20 minutes long. If I'm trying to do one that's less than a minute, would be really hard for me. So yeah, but yeah. If it were up to you, where would you build a high-speed line? I think like probably Sydney to Melbourne via Canberra. Yeah, I think that would probably be, and then soon Brisbane followed by that, I guess. Yeah, Mount Victoria is a lovely station. Yeah. All right, I was on that. Yes, there's still a couple of unrefurbished ferries. That's right. Yes. Victory, Mount Victory. Oh, I think I reached the end of the comments. Oh, great. This is good. Remember the first Metro started, broke down a few times. There's always going to be a few teething troubles. It's like even at Central Station, even the North-South concourse, the first week there was a lift escalator not working for some of the time. There's always going to be some teething troubles. But, the test is always really how it is a few months later. And even the budget, even when things go over budget, in 5 years' time, nobody's going to be really remembering that, say, the Elizabeth line in London went over budget, or that Sydney Metro, Sydney and South West went over budget. No one's going to mind in 5 years after it's open. So these things just they become less significant. Was like every second person was up against you. Don't quite understand that. Buses replace them. Noted Metro train movie. Yes, yeah, definitely. That was on last Friday. Yes, I was there last week. I think it was Thursday. I saw 2 in the sidings, and I did see one moving, but it was the only time I couldn't get a window seat on the right side of the train because there was one carriage was out of action. And the trains are definitely getting busier, by the way, which is a good thing, but it's not so good when you want to try and be at my prime seat on the right side of the train. So I missed that. It was really annoying, but it happens, I guess. Thanks, MT Gaming. Thanks, Time Imp. Have you been to Loftus? No, I haven't. That would be good. That'd be a good place to go and do a video on, definitely. And the channel's at the point now where I could probably reach out to them beforehand and maybe interview some staff there. It would be great. So yeah, definitely. And Zigzag Railway, definitely want to do that quite soon as well. Can't remember when it's reopening quite soon if it hasn't already. Do you mean I couldn't move? If you were at Central and you escalated down the Metro Oh, is it? Okay. No, I didn't notice that. New escalator down. Oh, okay. No, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, the one of the escalators up to platform 12, the one coming down at the south end, was out of action for nearly a week. So yeah. Little tip for you, by the way, if you're coming from the suburban platforms and you want to go to platforms 1 to 11, and you don't want to use those stairs up to the northern concourse, then just use the platform 12 platform 12 escalators. I'm going to put that in the video. So yeah, little tips. So if you're coming from platforms 1 to 11, just come down via platform 12, go down the escalator. You can avoid the steps. So yeah, that's a little tip. All right. I do shorts. Yeah. I think. All right. Where we got to? Baxter. Did you go to Vivid? Yes, I did. I did film Vivid. I did film that. Whether that will be on YouTube, the big challenge I have is that literally I've got so much more stuff filmed than I actually have time to edit and narrate properly. Again, I could just put them up there with limited narration, but you know me, I like to do them as well as I possibly can. So, yeah, but yeah, I have filmed it. So yeah, definitely. Not sure if you were noticed when you're at Central with the new escalator down. Yeah, we get more cable cars into the transit network. Can we get more cable cars into the transit network? Yes. I missed during COVID while I was here. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Just left Circular Quay. So many people, so little train. The light rail's getting really busy now. The L1. Well, as is it Roboluxian lifted trains and more, and yeah. So as you know, so you saw me on that, so it was pretty busy. We don't see the Vivid thing. Just use with the tunnels. Yeah. Just do a video. Roseville. Yeah, maybe one day. I was thinking. I would like the idea of just doing like videos on just like all the stations between, say, Chatswood and Hornsby, or between Blacktown and Richmond, or you know, just do sort of 4 or 5 stations in one video, that sort of thing. Zigzag is Zigzag Railway is now open. Great, that's good. When was the last time you were on a K-set? Quite recently, probably the last week or two. I think I got one going around the city circle. There is one that runs in the off-peak, goes to Liverpool. It's one of the faster T3 ones, the ones that doesn't stop at all the stations to Liverpool. So yes, there is one, definitely one out in the off-peak at the moment. So yeah. Metro platforms. When was City Metro platforms? Again, so you have a Sydney Metro. They're going to be terminating at Sydenham, definitely, to start with. Oh, I want you to do Zigzag. Yes. Oh, great. Okay, that's good to know. Sydney Trades Films. I might reach out to you for some filming locations. Have you interest in filming any heritage railway operations? I think in normal, I'd like to think the last couple of years have been like not normal because there's been so much construction stuff happening, but you know that is definitely slowing down now. So you know, if there was nothing new to talk about, yes, I would be doing heritage trains. Yes, I'd be doing more end of the lines. I'd be doing lease use stations. I'd be doing yeah, lots of things. I've got footage of entire train ride from Moss Vale to Unionderry in the other direction to the way I did it last time on a cloudy day, so it's much better footage. I also got footage of back of the train from Central down to Wollongong, and I also luckily got on the rail motor back in October when we had the Heritage Weekend, going around all the freight lines. So I have so many videos that I can do that are not like time critical. So I've got, I could probably not go on a train for a whole year and have enough videos to do. So I've got plenty to do to cover. So yeah, no shortage. I've probably got over 100 video ideas and probably 30 that I've got footage for. So yeah, so it's the great thing about it is just so many things you can talk about, and that's really, really good. So yeah, next thing, the new light. What do you think the next light rail development in? I don't know. Gabe, possibly down to Maroubra, extending the line. I think could be a good one. Which train do you think? Oh, that's got to be the Tangaras. Which train has the worst windows? Yeah, definitely. When I was filming the Chatswood dive sites, if I got a Tangara at Armand or Chatswood, I would never get on it. You know, there was one day when I filmed. It was one of those industrial action days when there were only Tangaras running, and I did get some footage. It wasn't too bad, and I think I used it actually. but yeah, it's very frustrating if a Tangara turns up. I just have to wait for the next train. So yeah. Usually I'm checking on TripView what type of train it is. So yeah. Favorite station on Sydney Metro? Probably Cherrybrook. I just love the fact that it's that you've got the natural light coming in. But I like Showground as well. I don't know why I like Showground, just because it's a bit quieter than the others. Yes. Well, the Illawarra line is going to get an upgrade. It's going to get the Marion, the NIF trains. So yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Right. Favorite station on City Metro? I saw new metro station. Yes, I believe actually on the obviously the trains, there are some of the second generation City Metro trains now in service. I've not particularly noticed them, and I don't know if they're any different, but yeah, so they are. I don't think the airport train link will ever get replaced with a metro line. I know there's a plan to build a metro that would go to domestic and international. I don't know. Yeah, strong views really. I don't think it's necessary. Favorite station City Metro we've talked about. Yeah, needs to upgrade. Platform 24, 25. They could do with an upgrade. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of these that could do with an upgrade. It all comes down to money at the end of the day, I guess. Why does that's better. Sometimes I get the word hide over a comment, which is annoying. So I've got, why does Lane Cove not ever get a station on the metro? I think you could put that down to local residents. Jim might be able to fill in a bit on that, actually. Oh, you mean Lane Cove as in... Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of different part of Lane Cove. Yes, you mean close to where the pub is and where all the buses go. Yeah, I mean, it's an area that could certainly benefit. I guess to send to send the North West Metro via Lane Cove would mean it would have missed Chatswood, and that's a key interchange, so that's probably got something to do with it. Yes, apparently there was a bit of a problem on Sydney Metro today. According to Twitter, let me share that screen. There was some police update at Cherrybrook's police operation. Not stopping at Cherrybrook. So yeah, there's definitely something going on. Yeah. So yeah. Share this tab instead. Okay, how are we doing? Have a Waterloo Station. I was there today. I think some of the lifts might have gone in. Not definitely sure. I need to have a look at the plans and see if they're in the right place. But yes. Yeah, look, when the industrial action was happening, I mean, there was a train every half hour on the T8. That would have been a real problem if you're trying to get to the airport. Yeah. The new metro trains have a Transport Sydney Trains logo on the side. I hadn't noticed that. City Metro to Northern Beaches, when the Northern Beaches people want it, I think. I mean, if I had my way, I'd probably extend it from Hunter Street to the Northern Beaches. I would probably send it via Rose Bay, via Watson's Bay, then go under the harbour to Manly and send it up Northern Beaches that way. That's where I would probably send it. But then you could also send it up via under Military Road and up that way as well. But people in Northern Beaches, they don't want metro. They're funny. They're a funny bunch. Is there anyone with Northern Beaches on tonight that wants to admit it? Yeah. Okay. However, yeah. Right. How often do you usually film for YouTube? So not everything I film ends up in a video. So the Sydney Metro City of Southwest stations, the core stations, so from Crow's Nest to Waterloo, I try and go about every 4 to 6 weeks. I often go on long weekends like this one because there's very few people around. Usually there's nobody around. Though I think more recently there tends to be one or two security people around. But if you go on a weekday, it's much harder to film. So I tend to go Sundays. But if I find long weekends are great because basically there's usually no work happening on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So if I'm not away on a long weekend, that's usually the best time. So yeah, and then I might just be filming other stuff at other times. And then sometimes I'm filming specifically for something. So I was at Central Station actually for nearly all of, I think it was a week last Friday, filming. That was the entire day. There was so much to cover. So yeah, I use Final Cut Pro to edit and publish. Yeah, I'm a Mac person, so yeah, so I use that. Yeah, it's good. It's quite a big learning curve, but yeah, it's pretty good. Right, I'm just going to try and cover the comments now as they flash on the screen. Yes, the beach's road tunnel has been shelved. So yeah. All right. I have a family on the northern beach. Yes, they're a little snobby. So yeah, back to the filming on YouTube. The filming is the easy bit. It's the quick bit. It's the editing that takes a lot of time. I probably spend 20 to 25 hours a week just on the editing side of it. So yeah, sometimes 3 hours can go by. I'll tend to work in 3-hour blocks. Sometimes I might only get 2 or 3 minutes done in that time, but it's probably because I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well. But I'd like to think I'm going to get better. So we've got some comments about Parramatta Light Rail now. Let's have a look. Unsaid Metro say Tallawong. Sydenham to Parramatta. Not aware of anything, no. Are you going to review Western Sydney Transport? I'm planning to do an overview video on Western Sydney Airport. So I went out with Sharath from Building Beautifully last Sunday with his drone, and we got some great footage. We actually got inside Aerotropolis Station. We went. There was actually an organised tour there, so we got that. To be honest, it's just a box in the ground. It's just like the base. It's not that interesting, but it was nice to get there and talk to a few people and get some background information. We then filmed Laudanum. That was quite easy to see now. I've got loads of footage of Orchard Hills. That's quite easy to see. And I'm hoping that on the bus tour this next Saturday, the Western Sydney Airport bus tour, that they will show that they'll get close to Airport Business Park and the airport station. If they do, then I've got all of them, which would be great. So that would be then I could do like an overview video. So yes, and I'm also thinking of buying my own drone. I was so impressed with Sharath's drone. It's so small. It's only about this size. Okay, that's probably about. I'd say it's probably about probably the length of a phone. It's so, and once it's high enough in the air, you can't really see it and you can't even hear it. So you could fly over one of these construction sites and nobody would even know you're there. They're amazing. So yes, I'm going to buy a drone soon, I think. So yeah. Extending Parramatta Light Rail to Epping. I know if you watch Sharath's latest video on that, it's not easy without doing a lot of tunneling underground. But yes, it seems to be the most popular extension. It's the one I get asked about a lot. Are you in a position to provide feedback on ideas to improve transport systems to people in positions of power to do something? I have to say, my channel is. I've tried. Any of you watch Jeff Marshall? Okay, and if you don't, do watch his videos. I know he's based in England, but his videos. A lot of my inspiration comes from him. One of the things he's done really, really well is to kind of do two things really. To keep things pretty factual. He'll come up with opinions every so often, but generally he keeps things pretty factual. And also he tries to keep things quite light-hearted as well. It's almost like if anything's built, he's very grateful for it, even if it's maybe not the right thing. So he very rarely does that. And I kind of want to be the same as well. So I don't tend to have particularly strong opinions on whether something is the right or wrong thing to do. I know Sharath does. His channel's quite different in that respect. So and if you're more into that kind of thing, then you'll love his videos. If you're not watching those already, that's Building Beautifully. But that's really what I want to do. And also it means I don't get so many comments as well. Okay. Because I do like to respond to comments. but I try not to generate additional comments if I can. So that's just my style. Other people are different, but that's the way I've decided to do things. So yeah. So questions about when will things happen? I really don't know. I don't have any special contacts in the industry that can tell me that. So a lot of these questions like when will Sydney Metro open, when will the Marion trains come, it really is how long is a piece of string, because it depends on how well the testing goes. It depends on any unexpected things that can happen. I mean, like when will the Chalmers Street entrance open? There was the 29th of May until the fire happened. So there's always unexpected things that can happen that can delay things. So, I think that's why we tend not to hear about things opening until just before. Okay. It's the same reason it's the same reason actually that I don't have a video schedule. I don't say I'm going to upload every Friday because I just don't know how long a video is going to take. So again, it's a bit of that sort of how long's a piece of string. So yeah, I just like to surprise you when a video suddenly appears on a Sunday morning like it did today. So yeah. Okay, what else have we got here? how long will you be streaming? I don't know. I'm quite enjoying myself at the moment. We've been going since about 7:15, so over an hour now. The original plan was to keep going until we hit 10,000 subscribers, but we achieved that in about 10 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe another half hour or so. We'll see how we go till we run out of questions, or if we start getting the same questions, maybe. But yeah. Okay. What do you think of motorway reviews? Again, although it's transport vlog, and I did film the North Connex tunnel when we were traveling through it with my wife over a year ago now, just after the 2021 lockdown, actually, when we got away. And again, I just haven't got around to sort of doing some research and editing it and putting it up there. And as people have asked me, could you cover construction sites for road schemes? And I've sort of decided no. I think road for me is just maybe something when it opens I might do in the future. But I have really, transport vlog has become a train vlog really for the last 18 months, but it was always planned to be more than that. And that is still the plan. There's still the plan to cover ferries more, cover aircraft more, that sort of stuff. So yeah, and cover a little bit of motorways as well. I like it when your videos pop up. Oh, thank you, Andrew. So I don't really have a view. How long are we streaming? Yeah, so we'll keep going for a bit longer. And okay. Chris Topher, I'm not aware of that one. If you want something more political, okay. Other channels I quite enjoy. Philip Malice in Melbourne. I quite enjoy his channel. I enjoy both of Phil's channels, Sydney Trains vlogs, and probably even more Abandon Oz. I really enjoy his Abandon Oz videos. So I enjoy his videos. Reese RM Transit, his videos. Tim Traveller, he's based in France, but he does some really interesting videos. And here's a funny one. A transvestite, Jen on the Move in the UK. She's hilarious. She's so funny. Yeah. So she does transport videos. She's very funny. So if you're not come across those, I discovered her through Jeff Marshall, but I find her fun. Okay. When is Cross River Rail Part 2? July, probably. Sorry, it was going to be June, but there's a bit too much going on at the Central Station and stuff in Sydney at the moment. But yes, probably July. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing Part 1. And actually, I might as well tell you all a story about Cross River Rail. So it was originally going to be a video. So basically, I did 2 trips. I did one trip over Christmas, and I did another trip at Easter. And the original plan was to do one video for the whole thing using the December footage. And that video was almost released in February, but I ran out of space on my hard disk on my Mac. And so I deleted a couple of videos that I just backed up onto one of these things. Okay. And when you do shift and click, I think I did shift and click instead of control and click, but basically I deleted the Cross River Rail video, which was 98% done. So I lost that whole video. I didn't lose the footage because the footage was stored in iCloud. So I still had the footage, and I didn't, and also Final Cut Pro, I didn't lose the kind of structure that was kept somewhere locally, but I lost all the narration and I lost my script. And I learned the hard way. I now use some software called Backblaze, which automatically backs up my Mac now to the cloud and keeps it for a year. Cost me about $100, very well spent. So really, really good. So yes, there was only going to be one video. It was going to be in February. So when that video didn't happen, after a week of remorse, I decided, basically my wife was quite keen to go back to Brisbane. At that time, my wife was actually doing a job that required fairly frequent trips to Brisbane. So I would come along and I would just make use of the free accommodation and then go off and do train stuff. So so we went back up for Easter, tagged on a few days at the either side where she was working. That's when I did the filming for April. And then I decided, partly because I knew Melbourne Metro Tunnel had become 2 videos. And in some ways, Cross River Rail, there was more to talk about with it being an above ground section. I decided to make that 3 videos. So Cross River Rail was originally going to come out in February anyway. And it was about a week after that video didn't come out that I bumped into Steve at Steve's Technology and Transit. So yes, so as I say, we're working a little bit together now, which is great. When are you uploading next? Well, one video went out today. I am taking a bit of time off next week as my wife is going to go off traveling for a couple of months. So she's only around for another week and then she's off for a couple of months. So I'm going to take it easy next week, and then the week after I'll be back working quite hard. But the next one will definitely be in the North-South Metro Concourse at Central Station, unless something crazy happens in the meantime. But that's the plan at the moment. And then I'd like to upload a bit more frequently. I think weekly's challenging without reducing the quality, but maybe if I can try and do a bit more than twice a month, which is what it's been most of the year, would be good. So yeah, that's the plan. But yes, the next video will definitely be the North-South Concourse at Central. Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited about that one. Actually, it's there's so much to talk about. It's going to be really interesting. And I do want to make it like that if you don't live in Sydney, that you'll get a better experience watching my video than almost being there yourself, because you'll get the commentary. But I want to try and show you everything that you might see if you were there. So it will be quite a big video. Yeah. Good question here about double-decker trains. Yeah, happy to talk about that for a couple of minutes. Having been to Melbourne and been to Brisbane, which have single-decker trains, and obviously City Metro has single-decker trains. Look, the biggest advantage I can see probably is single-decker trains is you can have more sets of doors. So with a double-decker train, you're really limited to 2 sets of doors per car. With a single-decker train, you can certainly have 3 sets, potentially 4 sets of doors. So that means that people can board and alight more quickly. Okay, so that's probably the biggest advantage. If people can board and alight more quickly, then you can get more trains through the system, which in a way increases capacity. Okay, so double-decker trains, you get more people because you've got double-decker trains, but it takes longer to get people off and on the train. And so that means you can't have as many trains. That might mean you can only have, say, 20 trains an hour through a central area. As maybe with single-decker, you can have 24 or even up to 30 trains an hour. And I love double-decker trains, but I can see the advantages of single-decker trains. So yeah, so that's mainly my thoughts. Look, the track work at weekends, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. You know, it's frustrating. It's annoying. It's frustrating for me when I want to go out and film and I can't get to Parramatta without getting the bus half the way. But, you know, the work needs to be done. If we're going to have a more reliable network in the future, then I guess it needs to be done. It's good that they're investing in it and getting it done. And a lot of it has been one of the things that a lot of people weren't aware of. But when the industrial action was happening, one of the things that was happening was that they were refusing to turn off the overhead wires. Okay, so most people weren't aware of this. I'm sure some of you were, but the public weren't aware of this. So that meant a lot of the City Metro work on the Bankstown line couldn't happen. So those 2-week shutdowns, some of those that happened, the amount of work they could actually do was really limited because the overhead wires were still energized. Okay, so they were almost wasted. Same at Chatswood Dive Site. The reason they had the 7-day shutdown back in October last year was to catch up. But it's probably also affected lots of other Sydney Trains track work as well. So they've had possessions and then the overhead wires haven't been switched off. So they can't use cranes. They can't do a lot of things. So that's affected things as well. So, you know, it's all been part of the protected industrial action, which people aren't aware of, but it's had quite a knock-on effect. So, yeah. So if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. So, yeah. South Coast Line in general, well, I like it because it's nice and scenic. It would be great if it was straighter, faster. And, yeah, but it's a nice line. But, yeah. All right. Where are we up to now? Parramatta Light Rail, probably August, September time. I haven't actually been for a while. Again, I'm sort of really finding I can do about 2 or 3 videos a month at the moment, realistically. And I'm trying to move a little bit away from doing update videos to more like explainer videos. But I do want to do another Parramatta Light Rail update. And the cycleway from Tramway Avenue to Carlingford is open. So I do want to go on that. So, yeah. I don't know that, Ethan. I'm sure someone else does. Tangara G sets. I'm sure someone can answer that for you. Yeah. Level trains. Yes, single deck tend to be faster. And if they're automatic trains, so they're driverless trains, then they can decelerate into platforms more quickly. And if the platforms have platform screen doors, they can go into platforms quicker because there's no danger of people being too close to the edge. It's amazing. If you're at Central Station, you just notice how slowly the trains come into the platforms because they have to be sort of just wary of people being too close, not behind the yellow line. So yeah, so automatic trains, they can decelerate faster, they can accelerate faster because when you've got a driver on the front, if they've got to stop at a certain place on the platform, they're generally going to err on the side of caution. Okay, as a computer won't do that. So yeah, definitely advantages there. Yes, it would be lovely to travel under the harbour. Yes, definitely. It's going to be a real game changer. I mean, it really is. It's almost like, public transport, the next big thing really after the harbour bridge. I mean, it's the second rail crossing under the harbour. Yeah, it's going to be a real game changer. Definitely, for sure. Yeah, probably, yes. South Coast trains probably should stop at Sydenham. Yes. It makes sense, definitely. But then I guess if they don't now, this is something I was watching one of Phil's videos today for Sydney Trains vlogs. One of the things he was saying, it's unconfirmed, but he's heard a sort of rumour that South Coast trains will terminate at Central using the new platforms 12 to 14 when they open. So I guess if they don't stop at Sydenham and they're using platforms 12 to 14 at Central, then the interchange with the Metro won't be too bad. It'll just be straight down some escalators, straight down the Metro escalators, down to the platform, which probably be similar to going up and over the bridge at Sydenham. Maybe slightly longer, but yeah. But yeah, in theory, yes, it'd be good. But if it doesn't, and they go into those platforms at Central, that would be a pretty good compromise. Yes, I am married. Yes, been married for just over 20 years, actually. So yeah. Don't bother. All right, no need to go to Parramatta. Well, I was going to go to Westmead. So to be honest, Parramatta's I'll probably go to have a look at the light rail as well. So it'd only be a waste. But yes, there's probably not a lot happening there at the moment. I like to I like to go every 6 months just to check those two heritage buildings are being looked after. They're still there. Yes, that's the bit that goes through the depot at Tallawong Trains Facility North. Yes, that's where the alignment would continue. Yeah, that's right. Yes, platform screen doors, definitely. Trains accelerating, decelerating, accelerating to platform. They could do it much faster if there's platform screen doors. So absolutely, yes, definitely. Yes, that's right. Macquarie Uni to Barangaroo in 18 minutes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. T3, removing that from the city circle. Yes, there's probably an emergency exit at Blues Point Reserve. So just on the north side, I'm sure there's one there. But yeah, there'll definitely be emergency exits. Yes, either side of the tunnel. Yeah. Elizabeth Line, but we need Crossrail too. Yes, absolutely. The Chelsea Hackney line. Now, Crossrail, interestingly, back in 1991, when I was at university, anyway, early 90s, I remember doing a report or an essay on the Central London Rail study, which at the time was Crossrail, more or less its current form, but probably not going via Canary Wharf. And the other line was going to be the Chelsea Hackney Tube, which was going to come off Clapham Junction. Then it was going to basically go from Victoria to King's Cross, I think stopping at Piccadilly Circus, and then up towards Islington and up that way. So yeah, I mean that was that's a long time ago, over 30 years ago now. And it's so yeah, yeah. Anyway, but yes, I'm sure it's needed. Bullet trains in Australia. So the way I think to think about this is for train to be more time efficient than flying, to be quicker than flying, I always think 3 hours is about the window. So when I lived in England, I used to often fly to Edinburgh for work, Edinburgh, Glasgow. And I used to also go to Manchester and Liverpool a lot. And Manchester and Liverpool are about 2 hours by train. So I always got the train there. But Scotland was like, Glasgow, Edinburgh was like 4.5 to 5 hours by train. So because it was more than 3 hours, it was quicker to fly. So normally I would fly. If I could get the train, I would. But normally, if I was going for, I could do I could get a flight at 7 in the morning. I could be in the office for 10, so I could do a whole day there. As if I got the train, I'd have to go up the night before. So yeah. So it's the same kind of thing in Australia, really. If in order for the train to be competitive with flying, it's really got to be around a 3 hour journey time, or well, even and it's pretty impossible to do Sydney to Melbourne in 3 hours without using sort of maglev technology to really like something that's, got to be a lot faster than what you have in Europe. Now, if you could have some other cities in the middle, the larger cities, then that could become more doable. But it's a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would get the train if it could be 4 to 5 hours rather than fly anyway. I certainly would. But yeah, that's the way I think about it. But there's a great video on, I think it's Tom Scott's channel. Let me see if I can post that in the chat. Let me just find it. It's a really interesting video about, because one of the problems with like magnetic levitation is, how does it deal with junctions? How does it deal with that? It can't. So in Japan, they're developing a train that can run on conventional tracks at normal line speeds and then go on special maglev tracks where they can go at like 500 kilometers an hour, really, really fast. Now, if you had a train like that, that could do Sydney to Melbourne in 3 hours. Let me see if I can just find that video. So Tom Scott. Doing the subscriber count. That's good. Let's find that video. I don't think I can play it because I don't think I can play sound, but I can definitely put a link in the chat because he did it quite recently. I think he did it quite recently. It's quite an interesting channel as well. It's not all, here we are, the world's fastest, he rode the world's fastest train. Here we go. Let me just pop it in the chat. Share, copy. Okay. I'll just pop the, I'll pop it in the chat. Here we go. I'll just pop it on the screen as well. As I say, I don't think the sound will play, but let's get the ads off first. All right, once the ads are gone. So I just got the ads playing, do my headphones. Oh, another ad. Okay, let's get rid of this. There we go. One more ad. Then we'll bring it up. There we go. Skip ad. It's beginning. All right, here he is. Share this tab. So this is Tom Scott, and it's called I Rode the World's Fastest Train. I've just put the link in the chat. Really interesting video, but I think that's the future. But it's a few years off. Hopefully it'll be within my lifetime. But yeah, a fascinating video. Yeah, he's got 6 million subscribers, by the way, so I've got a little bit of work to do still. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? Not rails, the train. Yes. Oh, you've seen it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly how the technology works, but it just seems to be a clever thing to do. So have a combination of maglev and conventional, even if conventionalist rail where you can have junctions and things like that. So yeah, we should start with just improving the current service. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know. Again, Sheriff did a video about high-speed rail, but yeah, just improving. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How we're going to replace Chilean train? Yeah, so there is some plans. So yeah, the XPTs are being replaced with new CAF Civity trains that are quite successful in the UK. Yes, I will be doing another Bankstown Metro update. There's not been, I don't think it's interesting enough to talk about, which is why I haven't done one yet. But yeah, overnight trains. Yes, they can help. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I will be traveling on the active transport path. I'm assuming you mean the Parramatta Light Rail one. Yes, definitely. I have got a little kind of DJI Action 2 like GoPro camera that I usually use occasionally. That would be great for that. So yeah. Do you hear about favorite train? I don't know. Favorite train is difficult. I think I really do like the Explorers. I have done the trip to Broken Hill twice, but both were before I started this channel. But I'd love to do it again and do a video on it. I don't know. I just quite like them. I just like the rumble of the underfloor engines on them. I'm not so keen on the Endeavours though, just with the 3x2 seating, although they're technically the same train. Yeah, and electric trains. I don't know. Probably the Waratahs. I don't know really. What future videos are going to? So most looking forward to making the one I'm probably most looking forward to making, and the reason I haven't made it yet is just because I've been trying to keep up with all the topical things, the construction work. But the one I'm probably most looking forward to making is this one that I filmed from the front of the rail motor, the CPH rail motor, which was central via the freight lines. So via Chilura, via Yugum, via anyway, it did a circle. It went down to Sydenham, then it took the freight lines to just after Campsie, then it went on the freight only line, and it went through Enfield, and then it continued. It got close to the big junction with Sefton, where it joined, and did go through another yard, and then it took the line to Regent's Park, came into Lidcombe, and then was on the far side all the way back to Central. And I'm really looking forward to getting that one out there. So yeah, I might just have to sort of, with that one, might just do an hour on it a couple of times a week, just so it's working there. Barangaroo, yes, maybe quite soon, maybe just a really short one on Barangaroo, because I have noticed the lifts, or at least bits of the lifts, are going in, and they're starting to build the station entrance as well. So yes, so might do a very quick one there quite soon, or I might combine it with some other stations. But yes, Barangaroo, yes, that's quite an interesting one. What I'm doing with the Sydney Metro ones is prioritizing the transport bits. So although we've got these wonderful, massive overstation developments happening at like Pitt Street and Martin Place and Victoria Cross and Crow's Nest, or all of them really, I'm prioritizing them more on when I'm seeing something that's actually to do with the station. So rather than the building above. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. But I'm planning to do explainer type videos like I did for Martin Place for all of them over the next few months, maybe one a month. So yeah. Now I had another question come up that was, when did I start? How did you start? How did I start doing YouTube? Okay, well, I've actually been a YouTuber since probably 2017, because I used to have a self-help psychology channel as well. That's the one I started initially. I have about 100 videos on that channel. It's Self-Help for Life, if anyone's interested in self-help and psychology. And that'd be like now, really, I'd be talking just at home like this, usually with a bit of a sort of loose script I'd be following, and I'd talk about confidence and motivation and procrastination and all those sorts of things. And that did quite well. That channel actually, I had a video that went viral, and that channel went from like 5,000 subscribers to about 12,000 subscribers overnight. That channel actually has more subscribers than this, but I haven't done a video for over a year, so it doesn't get that many views now. And I started this as a bit of a sort of fun side project, and that was always what it was for about 6 months. And then when it started to do much better, grow much faster than my other self-help channel was doing, I started to realize, this seemed to be where to put the energy in. And there was a time when I went from like 400 subscribers to about 1,000 subscribers within literally a week. I was going up 100 a day. That's when I realized that I should put more into the effort into this, and that's what I then decided to do. What happened about Parramatta Light Rail? I know it's going quite well. I haven't been there for a while. I believe the overhead wires are up on the Carlingford bit, Carlingford to Tramway Avenue. I also know that the ground charging thing is in at Westmead. Again, maybe going to go there tomorrow and have a look at that. But yeah, it's all going. Yeah, it's all going well. 2024. Have you been to Japan? No, Japan. I was going to go to Japan in 2020 for my fairly significant birthday. I'll let you guess in the comments which one it was. Fairly significant birthday in 2020. Flights were booked. Accommodation was booked. We were going to get the 2-week rail pass, and then of course COVID hit. So we did get our money back. And do check it out. Yeah, particularly if you're studying psychology, I think you'll find it interesting. And so I was going to go, and then now probably maybe 2025, because I do want to try and do the UK next year. So it depends how things go, but yeah, it's just so expensive flying overseas at the moment. So I haven't been doing it. Even flying to Perth is crazy, like $1,000. So that's why I've just been focusing on Brisbane and Melbourne. But yeah, I do want to. My parents are. My dad is 80 next year, so. And it's got a big wedding anniversary, so I do feel I want to try and get to the UK next year. All right, where are we up to? Psychology, I reckon they should make better use. Yeah, that might well happen. Better use of platforms 9 and 10 at Redfern. Yes, that could well happen with the more trains, more stations. Thank you, David. Can you do more fair? Yes, again, it's just down to time. There's only one of me. So yeah, but I'd like to do more ferry videos. Yeah, definitely. I have filmed the river class, the river class ferries. I just haven't got around to editing it. So yeah. How many minutes will it take to get from Victoria Cross to Barangaroo Metro? I guess probably about 4 minutes. I'd say. Thanks for that. Yeah, I wish it was 40. Uh, where in the UK do you come from? So, all right. So, those of you who were on earlier will know that I was actually born in New Zealand. And I lived in Dunedin for 6.5 years. I lived in Christchurch for a year. And then when I was 8, my parents, who are English, decided to go back to the UK. So, when I was a kid, I had quite a strong Kiwi accent. And then I lost that accent when I came to the UK. And I lived in Cheshire near Crewe Station. So, anyone who knows trains might know that Crewe is like a really, really major station for a town that's about 50,000 people. It's just got a crazily big station. Um, and I guess being close to Crewe Station was probably how I got interested in trains. So basically, I lived in Cheshire near Crewe, so quite close to Manchester and Liverpool. And then I kind of moved to London when I started working. I also went to Loughborough. That's where I went to university. That's where I did my transport degree. And they were building brush traction, were building locomotives just down the road at Loughborough. Then ended up in London, stayed in London for 17 years to the end of 2009. And then I've been in Australia since, well, yeah, really 2010, beginning of 2010. So, yeah. Favorite Sydney Metro station? I really like Cherrybrook just because I like the natural light coming into it. That's probably my favorite, although it doesn't have any escalators, but yeah. So, yeah, that's where I am. No way, Crewe. Yep, that's it, Crewe. I'm not into football, but apparently their football team is doing a bit better now than it used to when I was there. All right. You could be right. Let's go back. I guess 4 minutes. Jim's saying 3 minutes. Yes, that's probably right. Yeah, whatever Miss City Metro says it's going to be. No way, Paul turned 21. Thank you. Trains network going to be by September 55. Yeah, you're probably right. 20. Hopefully, I'll be around to witness that, Ethan. 2055. Sydney trains will be 200 years old. I don't know why Sydney got rid of the tram, but I'm sure they're regretting it now. I love the trams in Melbourne, by the way. I really enjoyed the trams in Melbourne. Yeah, I don't know where to start about doing a video about Japan's railways. I think I'd probably just have to do a very general video. Jim, if you want to email me the link, I can probably post it myself. But yeah, link's probably a bit of a problem. But yeah, if you email it to me, I can post it. Yeah, glad you don't have a Kiwi accent. Climbing up the stairs. That's the only word I remember was steers instead of stairs. Yeah, I mean, as the channel gets bigger, things like maybe getting into maintenance facilities is quite possible. Yeah, Andrew, yes, I remember that really well. Relaying the Crewe Junction. Yeah, I remember getting trains from Sandbach. That was my local station, and going through the independent lines, going under the independent lines to places like Birmingham. I remember that really, really well. And it's the only station I know where they renumbered all the platforms as well at that time. I've never seen that done since. So yeah, really, really, yeah, I remember that really well. Yeah, good. Well, good. Least favorite station on Sydney Metro. Probably one of the ones on the Epping to Chatswood bit, just because they're not as new and nice. So probably any of those three, really, I guess. Yeah. I think my favorite station's got to be Central at the moment, I have to say. Monorail, I know I was never a big fan of the monorail. I only went on it about 3 times. I didn't like the fact that you couldn't get between the carriages. That reminded me of old suburban trains in London where they had no compartments and you got in a carriage with 8 people and you couldn't get out. And someone was actually murdered on one of those trains. And then what they started doing after that was they put big red lines over them and they only ran those trains in the peaks when there were likely to be other people in them. So I've never liked the fact you've been stuck in a compartment. And I didn't like the fact you only ran in one direction. That just made it not really that helpful if you wanted to get from, Darling Harbour back to the city, So I was never a fan of it. I did go on the last day though, and that was good fun. I think hopefully I won't have any video, but I might have some photos of it. But yeah, but no, not really a fan of the monorail really. if you went to Parramatta in 2010, I believe. Ah, yes, yeah, quite lost. Yeah. Rachel's. Oh, yes. Rachel's live streams for crew. I tell you what, I do sometimes. I do go onto Rail Camera sometimes. I think it's Rail Cam, and just watch crew. Sometimes I'll be doing something else on another screen. I just have it in the background, so I do that sometimes. That's cool. One day I actually said to my dad, one day you should walk down to the end of, I think it's platform 5 or platform 6, and you should wave on Rail Cam, and then I could put a comment that says, "Hey, that's my dad." So maybe do that. My dad actually, he is a volunteer. He actually runs a signal box in Crewe. It's in the Heritage Centre, and he actually teaches people how to do the old-fashioned signalling. So, assuming I do get there next year and we're able to do it, I do want to do a video on that. So, here a video of him teaching me old-fashioned semaphore signalling. So, look out for that. That'll be fun. You'll get to see my dad as well. So, I'm hoping that we'll do that. They could build trams, yes. Getting around in short distances. You should do bus. I do want to do the electric buses, by the way. That's also on the list. Yeah, I'm sure Sydney regrets getting rid of the trams, definitely. Yeah, not really following the cricket. I love it not being underground. You should do the ferry to Manly, Edinburgh as well. Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Great to see. I don't know which one it is. The one that retired in 2021 is coming back into service. Really good. I'm really good that that's happening. That the Manly ferries are being kept. That's really good. Ride state is pretty disgusting. Love your work. Thanks, Jess. Oh, thanks. Is that Jim that's just posted me that? Right. Okay. Let me see if I can just quickly post that in. Is it the Victoria Cross Station one that you were just sent me then, Jim? Was it? All right. All right, just pop that in there. Victoria Cross Station. I was at the northern entrance of that today. I was quite busy today. I got around quite a lot today. Victoria Cross Station. I have to say, I know one day in a video I'm going to call it North Sydney Station, North Sydney Metro by mistake. I just find it really hard that they've given it a different name. Yeah, if anybody wants to post links, by the way, just email them to paul@transportvlog.com. Okay, so if you can't post a link, just email it. I'll try and keep an eye on that email address. Oh yeah, the Metro Times. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that was for so that link that just posted there. That was about the Metro Times. But yeah, just email me if you anything you want to share link wise. I know. I have the same problem with the comments as well. If you try and post a link in the comments, it generally doesn't like it. I'm on the lower North Shore. I'm going to keep it a bit vague, but I'm on the lower North Shore. Yeah. So, what did the pedestrianisation after the tramway did? I think it was probably a good thing. Pedestrianisation of George Street. Yeah, I think so. Upgrade the wharves, Circular Quay. I know there's a plan to upgrade the wharves at Circular Quay. Least favourite station, City East Richmond. Oh, I didn't realise. Okay, East Richmond's not actually a suburb. Okay, that's interesting. Thanks, Jess. Editing process. Yeah, good question. Okay, so I think it varies. I mean, typically I usually go out and do all the filming first, and then I'm sort of usually thinking in my mind of how I might structure it, how it might flow well. So I might just jot down kind of what I think a structure might be. And then I never used to, but for the last 18 months or so, I've been doing scripts. So I write a script. I seem to be struggling a bit to share anything other than internet pages. Otherwise, I'd show you a script. But yeah, basically it just has, let's go back to the this tab again. But yeah, basically I write a script, and then on the script I'll have the video, the idea of the clip that I'm going to use. And yeah, that's the process. It can change quite a lot. Sometimes I'll do something and I'll change the order around a bit. But that's basically what I do, more or less. And then sometimes if it's somewhere I can go to multiple times, like Central or somewhere that's fairly close, sometimes what I'll do is I will do the footage, work out a script, and then I'll go back and do the talking head bits, okay, afterwards. And they flow better when I do it that way. Because sometimes I'll record some talking head bits. That's me when I'm on the camera. And then when I try and edit, I realize that doesn't really fit with the video anymore. So I end up not using it. So that's what I'll do. If it's not too far away, or I need to go back, and that's another thing that might happen as well. If it's local, I might, when I look through the footage, realize I need something else. So I'll go back and film a second time. It's not practical. Like Brisbane and Melbourne, I couldn't do that. So I had to just go with what I had. But if it's local, I'll tend to do that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's still a bit vague, but and now increasingly now when I'm actually filming, I've kind of got a bit of a story in my head, but I do like to try and have a bit of a story. You'll notice sometimes I say, look, I'm going to cover this a bit later. So it's partly because I want to kind of keep the structure. So I don't want to go off topic, but it's also to kind of encourage people to keep watching. So, I'll say more on this later or something like that. You'll notice it a bit with the last video, the Chalmers Street station with the fire. It was to keep the logic, but it was also to kind of keep people watching as well. So there's a bit of both. But if you get a bit of a story, I think that really helps. So, yeah. All right, camera gear. I basically have three. I've got the phone. I say 90% of the time I'm using an iPhone 11. So it's not even the latest phone, but I just find it so easy to use. I've always got it in my pockets. It's always there. If I'm filming something like the Chalmers Street video, I got some close-ups of the aircon outlet. That was on this camera, the Lumix. So this one has... it's actually my wife's camera. She got this for nature, but it's got a really good zoom lens, so you can zoom in really, really close. Okay. When you're that close, though, it just shake a lot. So I often just do stills, as you might have noticed, like in the Chalmers Street. But it's a great camera. I use that a lot for the Chatswood dive site footage from the Mowbray Road Bridge was all on this. The footage that I took of Trains Facility South and the Metro, the Marrickville Metro Shopping Centre was all on this as well. Yeah, that's the main things I've used this for. And I also have, which has disappeared, I think it might be here, this little thing here. This is the DJI Action 2 camera. It's like a GoPro, and I like it because it's tiny. That's it. Okay. So actually that's the backup module. It actually comes in two bits. You got this bit. So there's the lens, and you've got a view. You've got a screen on the back. You can film with just this. It's so small. It's great for like construction sites. You can look really unobvious, and then you can attach it to this unit to get extra battery power. Or figure out how to do it. There we are. You can attach to that, and it gives you extra battery. It gives you a second screen as well. The only problem with this is it overheats, so it's not really very good if you want to film like a front of a train, anything like that, or even on the train. So I'm not super happy with this, to be honest. But I keep persevering with it. But the one time I did use this was the Hunter Street Station video where I was filming within the food court, and I was wandering around the food court. I had this just attached. You can attach it magnetically to your jumper or something, and so I did that and was able to film it really easily and really unobtrusively. So I use that occasionally. I use it on things like bike rides as well. So yes, that's good. Yeah, it is a bit like a spy camera. Actually, my wife, she got some Ray-Ban. What are they called? They've got a little camera in the actual glasses. They're amazing. I don't think they're particularly good quality, but I thought I could do with borrowing those to peer into little construction sites and things like that. But yeah, but yes, they are. And what you can actually, there's a light that comes on when you're filming, but you can turn it off. So you can actually literally look like you're walking around with this over your neck and you're filming and nobody knows. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, but it has a very wide focal length, very wide, and I find that difficult to deal with. So I'm not a big fan, but yeah, phone, amazing. That's mainly what I use. Yeah. So yeah. Fast rail, like I think unfortunately, I think we're going to go through a phase now of a bit less going on. And you could say that's due to the change of government, but I think also because interest rates are going up, that's making the costs of repaying the debt on all these things a lot higher. Also, just the cost of construction workers, the cost of materials is all shooting up. So I think we've had a really good run the last few years, and I think things are going to slow down, unfortunately. But there's still plenty to talk about. So but I think we are going to see that. All right, let's just go back through the comments where we got to. People guessing where I'm living. Covered editing process. Thirlmere. I'm sure I've been to Thirlmere, but doesn't. I think I might have been through it, but not actually got off there. Yes, there are noise protection blocks in Sydney Metro tunnels. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you mean Tony Abbott? Tony Abbott, I guess. I actually have met Tony Abbott on. I used to do a lot of running about 10 years ago, and I used to do City to Surf, and then there was another one called, I think it was called Pub to Pub in the Northern Beaches, and Tony Abbott. I saw him at the start, and his time was almost exactly the same as mine. I think I was slightly faster than him, but yes, so I've not actually spoken to him, but I have seen him. Yes, I'd love to do a video on electric buses. Definitely, I will tend to prioritize anything that's like an update, like something that's open, something that's ongoing. But yes, I don't think much is going to change. I think what will happen with the new state government is things might get slowed down a bit. I think we might see, Bankstown get pushed back a bit. I would love to see a couple of extra stations on Sydney Metro West. I know they have delayed the electric buses a bit. I heard that today. Right, we covered camera gear. Yes, I love Don's videos. Yes, I watch a lot of his cab ride videos. They're great. Yeah, really good. The only thing about him and most of the other people who do cab ride videos is I love the fact that he puts stuff on the screen, but I find I'm watching the video and I miss it. So I would love to actually have that as an auditory narration, to actually hear it, which is what I did with the Unandera to Robertson video, and what I'll do with any of those videos that I can do. So if I can ever get the front of a train, I'll always do a narration, because then you can just watch the video. You haven't got to look for things coming. So that's me. But I do think his videos are great. Yeah. If you want to relax, just watching a cab video is just such a nice way to relax. I just love it. Eddie Avenue entrance has been upgraded a bit to some degree. I think you mean probably the plaza outside. I don't really know what's happening beyond City Metro. But yeah. Yes, I remember when City Trains were City Rail. I remember being on S-sets as they squeaked around the tunnels around Wynyard and Town Hall. Yeah. Final Cut Pro is what I use for editing. Now Howard Collins. Now I know Howard. Okay, I know Howard Collins. He worked on the Jubilee line in London when I was on there, so I know him really well. I've met him a couple of times since Australia, usually by random. I did meet him at Central Station on the day that Central Walk opened, so we do chat, and we keep in touch on LinkedIn and stuff. So yeah, he's a great guy, and I hope he gets the top job. I think he's acting it at the moment, but yes, hopefully he will. But yes. Every trade on the T1 is a Waratah, except when it's a Tangara, which is usually when I'm trying to film. Okay, spy cameras. Fast rail, we talked about that. Do you ever feel weird recording construction workers? I try and avoid filming people as much as possible. I generally, if I'm filming anything and someone walks in front of me, I'll generally stop and then restart. I prefer not to have people in my videos if I can avoid it. Generally. I also don't like cars in my videos either. So if I'm filming something like at Waterloo today, and you got the Botany Bay Road, is it the Botany Bay Road that goes around the front? And I was trying to I try and wait for gaps in the traffic as well. Can you get that? Yeah, the Ray-Ban. They're called. I think they're called Wayfarers. Let me see if I can just quickly find them. Ray-Ban Wayfarer. I think that's what they're called. They're about $400. They're not cheap, but then you're getting a camera. So I'm just quickly finding it. Capture. Here we go. I'll just share that tab. Okay, that should be on screen now. I've lost my tab now. Where is it gone? Oh, hang on. Right, I'm back there. That's put that on that window. There we go. You can see that okay now. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. I said, well, I thought you're charging your sunglasses. That just seems weird. Anyway, where's the furthest I've traveled for a video? Probably Dongog. Oh no, well let's use Brisbane and Melbourne. And a day trip, probably Dongog. Although I did do that from Port Stephens, so I was staying in Port Stephens. I have been down to Moss Vale, and Kiama and Bonneberry, Nora. I have filmed that. That hasn't come a video yet, but that was probably quite a way. And I have been to Broken Hill twice, but that was before I started Transport Vlog. Highly recommend the trip to Broken Hill. It's a Monday. It's about 12, 13 hours on an Explorer. Leaves Sydney at 6:15 in the morning, gets into Broken Hill at about 7:45 in the evening. Stay a night. Either come back on the train on the Tuesday, which is what I normally do because it's all about the journey. It's not really about Broken Hill, but you could have a couple of days in Broken Hill and then fly back. But it's a great trip. You see, if you do it on the Indian Pacific, a lot of it's in the dark, so you see it all in daylight, and you see some really great desert views. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, I know Labour hasn't done so well in the past, but again, I try to keep politics out of my videos, as you probably noticed. I'm just grateful that there is so much going on in Sydney, and people who are watching, in other cities in Australia or other parts of the world, probably just so envious of what's happening. 3 metro lines. It's like Singapore was 20, 30 years ago when they started building metros. Right, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, finishing. Okay, great. So basically, that's a great question. So about finishing up with TfL or London Transport as it was then, I became disillusioned with London Transport because of privatisation. So the railway system had already been privatised, and now they were privatising the underground, and they were doing what I'd never really agreed with, which is separating the infrastructure from the operations. So they were privatising the infrastructure, and then I think they were keeping the operations in the public sector. And I just didn't really want to be involved with that. Around about that time, I did an Access course, Microsoft Access course, and the trainer used to work for British Airways, and he came and joined us for lunch, and I asked him about how do you become a trainer, and that really interested me at the time. So, ironically, I left London Transport to go and work as an IT trainer, and that job. I was working for a firm in the UK that had offices all over the country in Manchester, Liverpool, Edinburgh, Glasgow, everywhere really, Bristol. And I was doing so much more traveling in that role than I ever did when I worked in any transport companies. I was going all over the place and often traveling in it was usually second class, but sometimes it was premium second class. So it was a bit like premium economy on the airlines. And I got to travel to Europe. And ironically, I was doing a lot more travel in that. But basically, that's what I've been doing ever since. Has been a systems trainer. That's what I still do. I do it part-time now, so I can work with Transport Vlog. I have thought of working back in the transport industry, but it could be a bit of a conflict of interest with this channel. Like if I work for Sydney Metro, I think there might be a bit of a conflict of interest there. So I try and keep what I do quite different from doing this. So yeah. Yes, that's basically what I've done. When I came to Australia, I did do some other sort of IT roles, business analyst, implementation type roles, but training has been what I've always enjoyed, which is probably comes across in my videos, so that training background just comes across really well. All right. Yeah, Shareth's great. We had a great chat actually. And he's just like in real life. He's just like he is on the channel. Some people on YouTube are like they sort of have a YouTube persona, but Shareth, he's just himself. He's really, really, really good. Yes, collaboration with City Trains Vlogs. Yes, we're going to meet for a beer hopefully soon and sort something out. Yeah, definitely. But yes, I met Phil. First time I met Phil was at the opening of Central Walk back in November rather, and then he also got invited to go on the to view the CAF tram in Parramatta. So I've seen him there, but we chat a lot and we share footage and things like that. So yeah, definitely we'll be meeting up soon. Yes. It's Dave's wife again. How are we doing? Ever thought of doing a collab with building? Yes, we probably are going to do a collab. We have already done some filming. So yes, there will definitely be a collab happening. I don't really do train spotty type videos. The closest I've done to a train spotty video would be that one I did at Petersham, all the different types, which is a very popular video. So I'd like to do the same for Brisbane and Melbourne, but I'm not really going to do. Again, I try and have a bit of a point of difference. So if I did a video like that, I'd probably do it at an unusual station like Wonderbine or something like that. Yeah. So yeah. I'm a bit like Jeff Marshall. I don't really notice the numbers. Okay, unless it's B40. Is it B41's the latest Waratah? I always notice that one, but generally I don't usually notice the numbers particularly. So yeah. Yes, he does his humor very well. Yeah, yeah. Again, for those people who are watching who have YouTube channels, three more little tips. Successful videos on YouTube tend to have a combination of being informative, inspiring, and entertaining. Okay, so my videos probably tend to be the information is probably where I'm strongest on. Inspiration is probably more where Sharath's videos tend to do really well because he's quite good at getting in the passion, and that can also be in a negative way as well. You know, about something being a problem and getting the storyline. So he's very good at that. And then we both, he's probably a bit better at the entertaining side of it as well. But that's ideally if you get a bit of all, you can get information, but you can also get a bit of inspiration, a bit of excitement in there. And if you can get a bit of entertainment in, that's always good as well. So, you know, for me, the jokey bits they just come. I just think about them as I'm editing or filming. They don't require much effort, and I think that's the way it should be with anything creative. It should just happen. So, yeah, that's the way I think about that. So yeah, so YouTube tips: interesting, inspirational, and entertaining. Ideally, if you can do all three. I think that's why Jeff Marshall's videos do so well. Yeah. Yes, Menindee. That's close to the lake, isn't it? The reservoir, which I've seen with water in it on the first time I went, and then I saw it with no water on the second trip. Really fascinating. There were like pelicans and water birds all there, and then the second time there was nothing. Yeah, it's fascinating. And the Murray River was empty as well the second time. Cost of living. Yeah, it is a bit odd that electrification stops at Kiama. Yeah, but it'd be really good to see. You know what would be really good to have, because the CAF Civity trains are going to be bimodal, so they'll be electric and diesel. So it'd be really good to see. What I'd like to see actually, because they will run down to Bomaderry, but they'll also run down to Moss Vale. It'd be really good to see some through trains with bimodal units, and I don't feel that the government has purchased enough trains to be able to do that. Because I think it's only purchased about like 21, which is just enough to cover the current fleet. But I'd really like to see that happening. So that would be really good. Yes, the Dawlish Beat webcam. Yep, webcam. That's a good one. Yeah, great. Uline's Plan, you said you heard of, really moving ahead. Not really, no. I mean, there's a few in the planning pipeline, but no, nothing really new. I think we've gone through a bit of a golden period. I think things are going to be a bit slower for the next few years now. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. There's plenty to talk about. I mean, we've still got the airport line opening in 2026 to look forward to, the Bankstown conversion, to say 2025. And then we've got Sydney Metro West. So there's still plenty going on. So, yeah. And then we've got Parramatta Light Rail Park, the Olympic Park. So we've got plenty. And I'm sure other things will happen. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to ride along the active transport path, definitely. Might be worth doing a turn off as well and have a look at the depot at Camellia. If that's what I'll probably do. I'll probably get a train to Clyde and then cycle through the industrial area, have a look at the maintenance facility. Or actually, probably better actually to start at the Carlingford end because that will be more or less downhill then because it's more downhill. But I'll probably do it in both directions. Queen's birthday. Actually, going to show you something. The Willy Weather app still has it as the Queen's birthday. See if I can show you it. There we are. You see that? Is it the right way around? But it's the Queen's birthday. There we go. And I actually emailed them. I actually emailed them to tell them, and this is what they said. Let me just find the response. I got an automated response from them, and they said, "Where is it? I get too many emails." Let's just type in Willie and see what comes up. Basically, they said that it was to do with a calendar feed. So it's just an automated reply. Oh no, don't show it in black. I can't read it now. Let's try one more time. Here we go. Here we go. Thanks for getting in touch. It says, if you're writing in about the King's birthday holiday being incorrectly showed as the Queen's birthday, please accept our apologies. This out-of-date information has fed in via a calendar we use. Unfortunately, there are some technical hurdles that prevent us from a rapid resolution. So it may just have to run its course this time. Yeah. Anyway, I got a bit off topic. Yes. Yes. Same here. Oh, you're a trainer as well. That's yes and. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah. Training's been fun. The current role I'm doing in actually has some opportunities to go to Melbourne and Perth, so I might be able to get some work trips there, which would be good. And so you might get more Melbourne and Perth content. My wife no longer does the job in Brisbane, so Brisbane trips I'll have to be have to do this myself now. Yes, I have been to Vivid. I did do the tram tunnel. That was a lot of fun. I did film some of that as well. I find Vivid itself, I think I have a low attention span. I'm okay for about an hour and I get a bit bored. But I like the tram tunnel one because they had, well, partly the tram tunnels, but also they had music with it, and I like the kind of dancey music that was with the light display. Just added something to it. So yeah, yes, I'll keep them going. Yeah, that's it. Which software do you train on at the moment? Typical things like Office, and I work in like a legal firm, so systems that they use, which is document management, time recording, those sorts of things. Yeah, yeah, B41. Yeah. How was the sea? Yeah, I love that. That was such a fun day out. The Sea Sector Summit. If you haven't seen that video, it was quite a long time ago now, but the Sea Sector Summit video was such fun. It was such a good day out. Where's the T107? I'm not sure about that. To track train movements. I just use any trip, basically, which someone recommended to me. That would be fun, wouldn't it? All the stations between Dongog. I'd like to do all the stations between Maitland and Dunlog. I'd like to do the stuff that Jeff Marshall does, where he visits all the stations. It's a little bit harder because sometimes there's only 1 or 2 or 3 trains a day as opposed to 4 or 5 trains a day. So where you do the skip stopping thing. But yeah, I was thinking about it. I mean, I'd love to do I'd love to do all the stations on the Broken Hill line, but the only way to do that is going to be by car, really. So yeah. Yeah. Glad those tips were useful. What year did the Intercity U sets withdrawn? I don't know that answer to that one, Ethan. Yes, that's right. Yes, when I was at Dubbo, I did film a little bit of the new maintenance facility being built, but yes. Yeah, not totally sure about the wisdom of doing that. Bear in mind that they could go, to Brisbane, Melbourne, but yeah. Thoughts on the twice a day Goulburn and Bathurst service on? Yeah, look, I think it would be good to have them more frequent, and I think with the CAF trains, because they're bimodal, that could potentially allow that to be the case. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to do Bathurst end of the line, but I'd have to pretty much stay over there to do it. I think it's the only way to do it. Got a question. Thought they were thinking of dropping that. I think Sydney Metro is still going to go to Bankstown because for 2 reasons. One is they've done a lot of the work already. All the substations are there. The services buildings are already in place. And if it doesn't, then you've still got the bottleneck around Central Station to deal with, which is going to limit the increases on the T2 and the T8. So I think it has to happen. I mean, if it wasn't for that, it would make much more sense for it to go somewhere else that doesn't have a train service at the moment, but that's really the reason. Yeah, I could do with some moderators, couldn't I? I'm doing this all by myself. To be honest, I only expected. I really didn't. have any expectations for this really. Let's just see how the we're up to go back up to here. I really thought I'd be just talking to myself for half an hour. I thought, well, I'll record anyway, so it'll still be useful. But I didn't expect people to come. I had all sorts of things I was going to do. I was going to talk a bit about the channel. I was going to talk a bit about filming. I was going to talk about equipment, so that's come up anyway. I was going to do live posts on Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube to promote this and promote people to subscribe. So I haven't had to do any of that. So I'm amazed. I mean, I assume this just flashed up on your feed at the start time. I have done no promotion, so yeah, that's great. It's just a nice way to spend the Sunday evening as well. Is my camera mirrored? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know how to change that, but yes, I think it is mirrored. I think, yeah. Meet and greet. Yes, but probably just for Patreons, and that's not so much just because of the Patreons. I just think it could be just too many people otherwise. But I think Phil Sydney Trains Vlogs did in the early days, but yeah, it just might be. Yeah, I'd probably do it probably just within Patreons. I haven't done it yet, but I'm always happy to, like at open days, if you see me and I'm not sort of filming with someone else, then do come and say hello. Always happy to do that. Things like open days. Again, with open days, I'll generally promote those to let the patrons know about those first, and then a couple of days later, if it hasn't sold out, then I'll probably put a post on, like I did for the Aerotropolis one. So yeah, so do join at Patreon. It's $3 a month. It's the cheapest, and it goes up from there. But there will be there's definitely a few perks. They get those sorts of perks, meetups, and a few other things as well. There's a few extra videos that I sort of do, a little more informal videos that go out on there as well, and they get early access as well, a couple of days early. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard to organise pub time. Yeah. I mean, I won't discount it, but yeah, definitely, I'll give it some thought. Don't know about the quiet carriages. Yeah, that's good. Be careful filming in Perth. Yeah, airports are always a bit tricky. Didn't have any problem filming Sydney Airport during COVID-19 though. Yeah, look, I mean, even today at Crow's Nest, I got a bit of an issue with a security guy today. It doesn't happen very often. Usually because I try not to film if I see someone who looks like security, but he was in black, he was smoking. I wasn't sure if he was security or not. But yeah, I think if anybody's filming and someone tells you not to, the best thing to do is just be polite and just stop filming. And you can always come back another day. But yeah, airports probably are a bit more tricky, definitely. So yeah. But yeah, just be polite. It's the best you can do if it happens. So yeah. Yes, yes, it's official birthday. The Barangaroo site is, if you just look on Sydney Metro website, you should be able to find a little map of where it is. But it's basically just below High Street. Or look at some of my videos. I think I might have put a map on one of them. Yeah, glad. Oh, you're a resident of Randall Street. Oh, brilliant. That's great. Hope you were one of the ones that got evacuated. Any trip? Yeah. At the same property, Sydney, Melbourne, XPT. Yeah. Oh, okay. USETs. Thanks for answering that, Ethel. Any chance of getting a central station? Look, I don't think it's. Look, actually, let's talk about opening of platforms 13 and 14. So I'm going to mention this in the North-South Goggles video. But basically, I think the only reason they've not put the tracks in there yet is that the walkway into the main Sydney Metro kind of offices and construction site is over where the tracks will go to those two platforms. So I think once all the work is finished, when Chalmers Street is opened, I think, and then that whole site will begin to get closed off. I think that's when those tracks will happen. So it probably will be the last thing that will happen. Yeah. Yes, service buildings. Yep, that's right. Yep, services buildings. I mean, if they did shelve the conversion of the Bankstown line, you'd still get lifts. There'd still be all the accessibility improvements anyway, so they would all be beneficial anyway. But yeah, I think there's been so much investment gone in services buildings. It would seem to be a waste. Yeah. So it just appeared randomly on your homepage. That's good. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks. Yes. Sometimes I'm not quite sure of people's names on Patreon. So yeah, great, good. Well, yeah, I'll definitely if we do one first, I'll definitely do it on Patreon and then maybe see how it goes after that. Yeah, definitely. Um, oh, that's good. Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah, signaling. That's great. Um, Parramatta, yeah, Parramatta light rail updates. Yeah, I haven't been there for a while, um, but yes, what I'd like to see with the next update is see more overhead wires in. And I have been watching other people's updates and then thinking, oh, is there enough to really talk about? So yeah, but yeah, there'll definitely be another one. There's still those two videos actually, the three videos are still quite popular actually. So yeah, um, yeah, I think again one of the reasons I like filming on the iPhone is it's fairly unobtrusive. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody's filming things. You know, when you have an SLR camera or something like that, particularly if you have it on a tripod, um, you know, you might get issues. You just got to remember that you're technically on Sydney Trains property, and so you know, although they shouldn't really have a problem, if they do, you just have to just be polite. You can always come back another day. You know, they're all on shifts, so that you know. I try and remember the people, but I did have an issue at Bankstown where someone asked me to stop filming, which was a shame. But I was just polite, and I've been back there and not had a problem since. It's one of the reasons I like filming from trains actually, because nobody can really stop you filming from a train. So that's my favourite place to film, definitely. Um, favorite smaller construction project? I don't know. I quite like the step-free upgrade at Wollstonecraft Station. I never got to do a video on it, but I did keep an eye on it. I thought that was quite a nice little project. And actually, that's something I'm thinking of is some of these accessibility improvements, the Transport Access Program. Maybe just one Sunday, just going out and filming, say, 4 or 5 stations that have been done and doing those. So yeah. Um, yes, Central Walking being extended. Yeah, it's definitely a plan. But yeah, it would be great to see that happen. Um, the LXRP in Melbourne. You might have to remind me what that is. The suburban rail loop. Don't really know much about it. I think the most important thing I'd like to see in Melbourne is the airport link. Personally, um, yes, yes, of course, yes. So yeah, Metro Tunnel and Cross River Rail. I'd like to think that as long as they give a reasonable amount of warning of opening day, that I would fly down for the first week of both of those. That would be the plan. And obviously Sydney Metro are the same. And I would definitely be doing the same way as Jeff Marshall did, do a video of each station. Probably do one on the day, just capturing the moment, and then do a video for each day. We just need to decide whether we're going to get a whole load of people down to Waterloo Station to see Waterloo by ABBA, like Jeff Marshall did with the Purple Train. And I think of something for Melbourne and Brisbane as well. What can we do for those two? What songs are there that are similar to a station on that line? So yeah, or could be. Anyway, that's something to think about. All right. Question about yeah, okay. So yeah, definitely. I probably won't do a Metro Tunnel one before it opens. I did sort of describe that one more as an explained video with. Oh, we're back. I lost my camera for a moment there. Hopefully, I haven't lost everybody else. I'm going to assume that we haven't. Yeah, basically, both Cross River Rail and Melbourne Metro Tunnel, those explained videos, they'll be the only ones I'll be doing before they'll be opening. Definitely, Steve will be continuing with his updates more regularly. I don't think I think there's Metro Man in Melbourne who does some updates, but I don't really think there's somebody, particularly in Melbourne, that's doing it quite the way that me and Steve are doing it. So if you're in Melbourne and fancy doing that, you could be the first. So definitely a gap in the market there. I know Philip Malice. I do like his stuff. He did get behind the scenes, and he does get behind the scenes as well. So he's good. Yeah. Right. Where are we? Steve, you need fish to film with. Yeah. Technically, with city trains, if you read the conditions of carriage, technically you do need permission to film, and you need to agree when you're going to go and that sort of thing. But for me, it's just it's just not practical because I'll tend to go often at short notice, depending on the weather, depending on what's happening. So I can't really have like a commitment that I've got to go between 11 and 12 on a Thursday in 3 weeks' time, because say the building of the platform at Bankstown, a lot of work could happen in that time. So it's just not really practical for me. But yeah, if you film me with a phone or even with this little GoPro thing, the DJ Action 2, it's so small that people don't really know what you're doing. Or even better, get the Wayfarer sunglasses. So yeah, and with my videos, it's like I'd like to think the photography and the videography is a fairly good quality, but it's definitely not the most important thing. I think the information is more important, and just simple things like just panning slowly. The number of people I see, particularly younger people, where they're all over the place with their phones. You just need to slow down and just do everything much more slowly, and you'll get much better videos. So, I don't really, I focus more on the information than the footage. So sometimes the footage can be quite rough in places, but if it's a construction footage and it's important, and I haven't got an opportunity to film it again, I'll usually keep it in there. So yeah. Level crossing removal project. Yeah, I don't know where to start with that. Okay. I'd probably do some of the ones that have already happened. Yeah, but yes, it amazes me that Melbourne has so many so many level crossings. Sydney, I can only think of ones maybe out on the Richmond line. So yeah. Yeah, look, 30 minutes I'd say is the bare minimum. I mean, I think 15-minute frequency is ideal. Sydney, that's particularly what we have on most lines. The Richmond line and the Liverpool line is, the T3 bit to Liverpool's the only lines I think every 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Oh, Blackheath. I wasn't aware of that. To lifts at Blackheath, that's great. Okay, good. I do want to go. I'll tell you one video I do want to do. I haven't filmed yet, but I really want to do is all the single car platform stations. I think there's 5. There's Wonderbine, and I think there's 2 or 3 more on the Central Coast line between Woy Woy and Gosford, and then there's Zigzag. And they're the only ones I'm aware of. If you're aware of any others, do let them do list them. Let them know. Either email me or let me know now in the comments. They're the ones I can think of within New South Wales. But I think that'd be a great little video to do all those 5. They're literally, the platform's only long enough for 1 car of a train. I think that'd be a great video. So that's definitely what I'm going to do. So yeah, so maybe I could do Blackheath at the same time as going to Zigzag. Yeah, the Southern Tunnel. Yeah. You're going to do a bucket load of people at Chatswood. Well, I was there when the Northwest opened. Yeah, I was there. Obviously, you wouldn't have known me then because that was before I started this channel, but I was there on the first day. I didn't get on the first train. I got on about the 3rd train, I think. But yeah, probably. I mean, and the question is, where would you get on it? Do you get on it? Would you get on it at Chatswood, at Tallawong, or at Sydenham, or somewhere in the middle? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yes, I did disappear for a moment. I don't know what happened there. Yep, still here. Yeah, something went wrong. Yeah, I'm back. I don't know. Just had a little blip there. Metro Tunnel will be Blue Line. Yes. I've always felt those are more for the people filming. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, more professional. Yeah, people like filming almost like for films and things like that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I think you just always got to have, and I learned this from Jeff Marshall. You've got to respect that you're on their property. You can always go back another time. It's not the end of the world. I had the same issue at Parramatta Light Rail. Actually, I was filming it wasn't even a construction site. It was just a couple of people working on the track, and they obviously spotted me, and then they came up and had a word and said you shouldn't be filming. And then it's like, well, they'll keep filming for the rest of the day. Maybe they're going to radio their colleagues up the line. So I just decided to just come back another day. It was just easier. It was a bit annoying because I wanted to get that video out, but it was just the way it was. Okay. This is so much fun. We should do this more often. Yeah, level crossing the FF. Yeah, I'm sure there are some. I just haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. Opening on the 26th of June. Isn't that exciting? I'll tell you what's exciting about Wonderbine is actually the walks up there. There's Mount Wonderbine, which has got some great views. I'm a bit into walking as well. So, yeah, Tallawong, so the train doesn't get full. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I'm sure there must have been ones removed. Have I taken the train to every station in Sydney? I've definitely done every line in Sydney. I did that a few years ago now. including the Carlingford line before it closed. So I wouldn't say I haven't got off every station, but I've definitely been on every line. Are there any lines I've not done? I haven't done Maitland. I haven't done anything from Maitland up to Musselbrook, that line that continues up towards Armadale, Murray. I haven't done anything of that beyond Maitland yet. That's on the list. And I haven't been north of Dungog. I haven't been north of there yet. But I've done everything south. I've done Sydney to Melbourne. I've even done to Griffith. So I've done a good chunk of it. Yeah. I mean, I've been here 30, 40 years now, so I guess you do it. Yeah. Opening 16th of June next year. Yeah. Well, I was planning to go on holiday in June, so I'm sure if I go on holiday in June, it will open while I'm on holiday. But the problem with flying to the UK is you need to book the flights about 10 months in advance to get a good fare. So let's see. But yes, hopefully it won't open when I'm away. That'd be annoying if it did. Great stream. Oh, glad you enjoyed it. I don't really have any strong opinions on conversion of the T3 to Metro. It is going to help provide extra capacity between Sydenham and Central, which allows more trains on the T8 and T2 to run. It's not as if any drivers or guards are going to lose their jobs. They're just going to be redeployed onto other lines that are going to have more frequencies, so a higher level of frequency. Same with the trains, so it's just going to be more trains. So yeah. Yeah, I agree, Leo. All this work. Yes, it would be great to see more community events, more open days. Definitely, yeah. Yes, I did. I did go to the Wynyard Tunnels during Vivid. Yeah, and I did film it as well. Canberra Light Rail. I'd like to do a video on Canberra Light Rail. I've done the line to Canberra. That's another one I've done as well. But yes, I've not been on Canberra Light Rail, so I would like to do that and do a video. Definitely. Yeah. All right, people. Oh, good night, David. It is getting late now, isn't it? I think we'll wrap up about 10. So, any sort of final questions? I can't believe we've been going for so long. This has been such fun. Really good. What do we have with the subscribers now? We're up to, I seem to have lost my screen. It's saying 10. We're still at 10,017. So, yeah. So, I'd just like to thank everyone actually for supporting the channel, watching my videos, subscribing. I'm amazed how quickly it grew. I really am. If you're a YouTuber, just keep at it. Just try and be different in some way. Does take a while. But if you enjoy it, as long as, even if just a few people are watching your videos, it makes it worth doing. And definitely. So, yeah. What would it take for Warrior to run on the T4? Basically, more power. So they need to upgrade the overhead wires, the voltage, that sort of thing. And I believe that is something that's going to happen as a part of more trains, more stations. Along with, there's a whole new set of stabling sidings at Waterfall Station and also at Wollongong as well. So there's definitely quite a lot of work going on there as well. So yeah, but I think that's what it would take. And it'd be interesting to see, with the Marion, the NIF trains replacing both the VSET and the Oscars, what will the Oscars do? Will they go on the T4 and maybe not have Waratahs on the T4? Will they end up maybe on some of the longer T1 type services and Waratahs are going to the T4? What will then happen to the Tangaras? Maybe the Tangaras will end up on the sort of inner, the T2T, some of the T2 T8s, maybe start just running more in the peak periods. Who knows? But yeah. What are some of the other transport or city planning YouTube channels you'd love to watch and would like? So I think I've mentioned most of them already. So Jeff Marshall for London stuff. Tim Traveller, just quite enjoy his videos. His are quite similar to mine as well, where he tends to do mainly voiceovers. RM Transit, Philip Malice in Melbourne, Steve Technology Trains and Transit. That's not right, is it? Technology Transit and Trains. Anyway, Steve's channel in Brisbane. So yeah, I do watch his videos. He was on here earlier, but so they're good. Phil's videos, Sydney Trains vlogs, Sharif's videos, building beautifully. The Sydney Trains cab ride videos, quite like watching those. I do like cab ride videos from anywhere. There's a channel called Rail Relaxation, which has loads of cab ride videos from all over Europe. I find those are really good as well. That's what I'll tend to do. If I want to chill out for a bit, I'll tend to watch one of those. So yeah. Yeah, high speed. I don't know if I'm going to see it in my lifetime, unfortunately. There he is. Ah, yes, he's still there. Steve's technology in transit. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, cool. There he is. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, Steve, you'll be doing something like this in a few months' time. So yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. So do check out Steve's channel, Steve's Technology in Transit. I'm trying to think of anybody else. They're the main ones. I mean, I don't watch heaps of YouTube videos, but they're probably the main ones I tend to follow. I think really, yeah, yeah. I mean, most of my inspiration came really from Jeff Marshall and from Phil at Sydney Trains Vlogs. Really, they were the two. Jeff Marshall really for the idea of doing videos the way I do them, and Phil for just the fact that he'd done so many videos in Sydney and his channel had done really well. So they were really my main two inspirations. People like Reese are in transit. I discovered him after I'd started this channel, so he was after. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kevin. So I'm going to look at the. I think people are heading off to sleep now. It's getting on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do these again. I don't know if there's a way of having multiple. It'd be lovely to do this and have multiple people on it. So I have Steve on, like like I am now. This software that I'm using, I've got it on a free trial for 14 days. I only got it because I wanted to be able to share screen. Otherwise, I could have just done it on YouTube Live. But it's called Be Live if anybody's interested. But you have to pay for it after 14 days. So, but it is really easy to use actually. So I could be tempted. Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome, Jim. All right. So we'll wrap things up at 10. So if anybody has any final questions, but yes, it is getting a bit late now. And I was going to go early tomorrow as well to have a look at Sydney Metro West. So yeah, that would be good. Yes. Yeah. I hope you do 1,000 subscriber special. Whether you do it like this or whether you just get people to submit questions beforehand and then do it as a video on location. So there's definitely it's called Be Live. Let me just pop it in the pop a link in the chat. Just give me a moment. I literally discovered this about an hour before the live stream. I realized when I was just Googling live streaming, I realized straight away that that YouTube couldn't do a screen share. And so then I found a video about Be Live and I've just pop it in there now. But yeah, you can, everything else you can do on YouTube. You just can't share windows. There we go. That's just appeared. Should have just appeared now in the chat. Has it appeared? Let's try again. Be Live. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I have watched some of his videos. Tate Set. Is he the one that did the one on the flying junctions at Central Station? I found that was a really good video. Yeah, hopefully we can do these again more often, Dave. Yes, it'd be fun to do this again. Maybe do one at 15,000 subscribers and then, yeah. Ah, yes. This is the first live chat, Chris. Yes, that's right. Ever heard of OBS? No. OBS Studio. Okay, no, I haven't heard of that one. No. Do you think that the K sets and the V sets should be withdrawn? Well, they are getting a bit old, but only when there's something to replace them. I think the train speeds will be the same as Northwest up to 100k. Don't see any reason why they should be any different. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, first live chat. Yeah, I don't think I did too bad for a first attempt. And bear in mind, I was literally just got this software half an hour before. It's pretty popular. Okay, great. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do many live streams, and whether I would share. The only reason I wanted to share the screen was to do the subscriber counter. So normally, maybe I wouldn't need to share the screen really. But yeah, maybe the next one I'll do, I'll just try do YouTube's platform and see what happens. But yeah, it's funny because I didn't really know what time of day it might hit 10,000 subscribers. So I actually took my laptop and my headphones with me today while I was out and about because I thought, well, if it happens during the day, I could just find a cafe somewhere and do it from there, you know. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll go up to like Castle Hill and do it from the Metro platform there or something like that. So I was keeping an eye on my phone of the subscriber count, and it got to about 4 o'clock and it started to go up quite quickly. I thought, all right, I better get home. So it's really worked out well to be this time of the evening, because if it had been like 2 or 3 in the morning, because I've got no control over it, I just thought, well, if I release the video this morning, there's a fairly good chance it's going to go over, either because it had been a lot. It always goes up more when you've just released a video. So I thought, well, if I release it this morning at 6 o'clock, it'll probably happen tonight. But if it doesn't, if it's 3 in the morning, I wouldn't be able to do this. So but yes, I was thinking I was going to wait till it got to 9995 and then start the live stream. So if it had been 986, it would have been fine, because we're at 10,017 now. So I'll know that for next time. So yeah, great. All right, it's 9:59 now. So to see if there's any final questions. This is a picture of a train I got off at Sydenham Station. I can't see the picture, Chad, but if you want to email it to me, paul@transportvlog.com. The story of how Transport Vlog started, if you watch my very first video, it's just called Introduction to Transport Vlog. I will give you a quick one about that, because I actually had this up on screen earlier. The idea came when I was, let's try and share my screen again. Screen share. Cheeky Dog. When the idea came, I was sitting in the Cheeky Dog pub in Port Stephens with my wife. It's a Bannisters owned pub. Don't know if anybody's ever been to it. It's quite new. And I've been watching a lot of Jeff Marshall's videos, and I already have my self-help YouTube channel, and which is quite heavy and quite serious, and at times. And I thought, would it be fun just to do this as a bit of a side project? And I had actually, interestingly, way back in 2019, I was more photography rather than filming, but I did record the Metro Northwest stations as they were being built, only on 2 occasions. I think about a year before they opened and about 6 months before they opened. So only twice. I remember cycling around the stations and viewing them. And so I thought this would be lovely to do this on YouTube. So that's where the idea originally came. But yeah, so that's where the idea originally came. And it took me a couple of months to actually think about the name and all that sort of stuff. And it did take me a while to do the first video. I procrastinated a bit on that first video. That's the introduction one. And then after that, it just kind of became, I kind of got into a bit of a roll with it, really. So yeah. How do you format an email? Quite understanding that. If you want to email something to me, it's just paul@transportvlog.com. Just email me that. Transportvlog.com. If you're attaching video, it's usually better to attach it as a link to something online. That's a bit harder to do, but something like that. City Trains Films. Basically, a couple of things I've sort of mentioned earlier. Try and make your videos interesting, inspirational, and entertaining. You want a bit of all three, ideally, but focus on what you're good at and then work from there. Be yourself. Try and be different. Try and be better if you can. It's not always that easy, particularly if you do. But being different, everyone can be different because we can all be ourselves. And this is why I think it's good if you can either be on camera or you can at least have a voiceover, because people will relate to you and people will like the way you are. There'll always be someone that likes your particular style. So I think that's quite important. And just stick at it. If you can do a video every week or every couple of weeks, usual things, write a decent description. If I just quickly bring up on I'll just bring up this Melbourne tunnel video here. Titles, you see the title here. I tend to go for quite long titles because that's good SEO, search engine optimization. So YouTube will pick up on keywords. So like here, it's picking up on Melbourne Metro Tunnel. It's got all the station names in there. The description features Melbourne Metro Tunnel several times, so that helps with the video ranking. It's quite a long description. It's got the chapters in there. And then I tend to have a lot of links in them. That's just because I like to give attribution to anything in there. When you upload the thumbnail, have custom thumbnails is good. Call the thumbnail what the video is about. So like Melbourne Metro Tunnel. those things can just help a bit. Tags, I don't think make a lot of difference, but I usually throw a few tags in as well. So those little things can just help a bit as well. Yeah. Hopefully we'll meet in person. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean things like Sydney Metro opening day next year. Any of these opening days, there's a good chance I'll be there. So yeah, definitely. I mean the opening of Central Walk, I just spent about an hour just chatting to people. I did all my filming at 7 in the morning, and then once it got to about 9 o'clock, I just chatting to people for a few hours. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so just don't get there at 7 in the morning because that's when I'm concentrating. So yeah. Okay, all right. I think we're going to wrap up now. Melbourne, never been to Central Station before. Yeah. Hopefully we'll meet someday as well. Shadow in the dark. Hopefully you won't be a shadow in the dark when I see you. Talking of shadows in the dark, you might see one of those in my next video. Okay. So yeah, Sydney Metro Platform Central. Whenever Sydney Metro opens, that's when they'll open. Yeah. All right. I think we'll end it there. It's just gone 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining. This was a lot of fun. There should be a replay if you want to watch it all again. So yeah, but I've really enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you again for your support. And we'll see you soon. All right, I'm gonna figure out how to end this now. We've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's almost like a trainathon, a trainer live streamathon, something like that. So anyway, enjoy the King's birthday tomorrow, and hope you do something nice. And look out for the next video, probably a week or two's time, North-South Concourse, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, all right. Okay. All right. I think everybody say good night now. Oh, thank you. I think I've just thank you, Invernet. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. All right. So I get a in now. So yeah. If you have any other questions, just email me. Just leave a comment. I think you might be able to leave a comment below this as well. So that'll be great. All right. Let's try and find the end button. It's probably this one here. All right. So we're going to stop now. So. Okay, say goodbye, and we'll see you all soon. All right. Thanks again for joining, and thanks again for supporting the channel, and we'll see you all soon. Okay, bye for now.